fight action between Australia and Ireland. Little on the approach first ball, delivers here away from us to Warner. Warner down the leg side through to the gloves of Lorcan Tucker. Is there going to be a wide signal there from umpire Gaffney? Was there a tickle on the thigh pad?
Must have been on the thigh pad, that one, yeah. No swing, but a little bit short. David Warner probably missed out there. You don't expect that first ball. You expect your left arm opening bowler to pitch it up and swing it away.
So the catching man at slip is Paul Sterling. Little on the way. Second ball to Warner. Punching off the back foot. Out towards point. Gets himself a single. Finch to the danger end. Gets through just. Would have needed to have been a direct hit. Australia get their first run from the second ball. As we welcome our networks all across Australia and New Zealand. The news from the toss. Ireland won it. Andy Bell-Burney electing to bowl first. Australia on a moody night in Brisbane. A chance to post a big total. And look to knock over the visitors in short time to give themselves a net run rate boost at a crucial juncture in this group stage. Adam Collins on commentary. I have Darren Lehmann with me summarising. Boof, Australia wanted to bowl as well, but an opportunity here for Finch and Warner, the veterans, to go big and really get themselves into the tournament. As Little makes his way to Finch. His first ball, pulling out in front of square. There'll be at least one. They might look for two. In fact, they'll get there comfortably. Taking on the arm of Gareth Delaney. None for three from three balls. Boof, hello.
Yeah, hello, mate. He's been a little bit short, Little to start with. What you want to do, Aaron Finch has really struggled against left arm bowlers swinging it back in. Trent Bolt gives him a bit of a nightmare at various stages. So you want to pitch the ball up and get it swinging. He's bowling 134, so he's got decent wheels. He just needs to pitch it up further, make Aaron Finch come forward and try and swing the ball and beat him inside. Little over the wicket, left arm to Finch, who again goes back. This time finds short cover, no single on offer. Again, too short. Needs to pitch it up. The way to stop the scoring here at the Gabba is actually get early wickets. And we just saw David Warner signal back to the change rooms a bit poppy, a bit slow. So, yeah, that's all the more important for Little to get the ball up and get it swinging. We saw 150 was enough yesterday. 3 tracks over, where Bangladesh defeated Zimbabwe in a wild Group 2 encounter. Came down to the last ball. Little to the crease here, delivers to Finch. He's got a slip, short again, pulled in front of square. Work to do for the man at deep mid-wicket. Delaney collects now. They get back for a second. None for 5. Good from Finch, just getting back in the crease. As you say, that just held up in the track a wee bit, didn't it? It did. Interesting bowl, a little bit short, because this short boundary is enticing, isn't it? Yeah. For a batter. Anything pitched up, you want to hit through the line, but that's the best way of taking a wicket as well for Ireland. Get the ball up, swing it back into the stumps of Aaron Finch, or swing it away from David Warner. Finch, who was unbeaten on 31 from 42 balls in the win against Sri Lanka. Last ball, first over, left alone outside the off stump. End of the first over, Australia, none for 5, and our coverage is for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Winning in cricket is hard. You need to perform at your best, day in, day out. It's the same with your super. If you're with Host Plus, you're with a top-performing super fund over the long term. Having a top performer on your side, that's a plus. Host Plus. Super Ratings SR50 Balance Index, August 2022. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance. Search Compare Host Plus today.
Just to our side, the circle in the Thai power play. Power plays on Kumo. It's going to be Mark Ardere getting the first opportunity from the Stanley Street end, playing his 57th international. Averages just 19.87. He's been their best contributor with the ball throughout the course of 2022. Ardere. Plenty of experience in county cricket. Had a number of seasons for Warwickshire. Can he get the ball swinging around? He'll start over the wicket to Warner. He's got a slip. Delivers here. Warner goes back again in the crease. Too short so far, Ireland. Steered down to deep third for an easy single. None for 6. Warner has 2 of those. Well, if you're the coach of Ireland, yes, it was a sort of neither here nor there start, wasn't it? None for 5 in the first over, but they're bowling too short. They're worried about actually getting driven. And against Australia, and in particular Aaron Finch and David Warner, you've got to get them driving on it. Yes, it's a risk, but that's the only way you're going to contain it, because Australia won't worry about if they go 5 or 6 and over for the first few overs, because if they've got wickets in hand at the Gabba, you can get
120, 130 off the last 10 overs. So they need to get early wickets to control this game.
Third man and final leg inside the circle for Finch. Adair reaches in here and bowls. Finch dancing and beaten. Unconventional cricket. It was full, but it wasn't quite straight enough. Beating the off stump. Just enough movement away from the right-hander as well. Watching it back on our replay screen here. Our screen, of course, for Beaumont Tiles. Need Tiles, choose Beaumont's. That was close.
Yeah, that's where you want to be. You want to be up and swing it away. So nice shape from Adair there. And that's where he's got to be. Pitch it up, swing it away. Nice scene on our replay there.
Finch beaten all ends up. 129 clicks Adair. Arrives and bowls again. Finch plays watchfully out through mid-wicket. Gets a single. Warner wants 2, but eventually sends the captain back. None for 7. Finch up to 5.
I know Nathan Horace is helping on and out at the moment as an assistant coach, and he's played so much here. He'll know the dimensions of the ground. And just then we saw them well off the fence on the western side towards Moreton Bay, and they'd come off the fence 20-30 yards. They know it's a big hit out there, so you can get a lot of twos to that big side.
That's a huge boundary today, playing across the table. 88 metres in that direction, where deep backward square is now. Adair over the wicket, bowls to Warner, who leaves alone outside the off stump through to the gloves of Lorcan Tucker. David Warner had an impressive performance here against the West Indies a couple of weeks ago, making 75 from 42 deliveries, the best innings of his build-up to the World Cup. Hasn't really made a statement in the tournament proper. You mentioned before he was kind of bowled around his legs against New Zealand from the back of the bat. An unusual way to be walking back to the pavilion. Made 11 against Sri Lanka in the win last Wednesday.
Around the wicket. So he swung the last one out. So whether he's going to come around the wicket and try and swing it away from David Warner. They're all worried about that short boundary down towards us. I think. Keep it away from there, they think.
Fine leg inside the circle. Round the wicket, Adair bowls. Warner comes forward, watchfully, defensively. And the bowler does the work in his follow through. That's better. Good length.
Yeah, there's a nice length. Fuller. This over's been fuller.
Warner, such an imposing record, having made his T20 debut all the way back in early 2009. Never forget that 89 from 43 balls against South Africa. Before he'd even made his first-class debut, all these years later, the veteran of this Australian side. Last ball for Adair here, delivers to Warner, full toss and gets it past point, not quite. Good diving stop. They'll get through for 1, but that'll be their lot. George Dockrell there on the edge of the circle. 2 overs gone. Just 3 runs coming from the second. Our coverage is for Host Plus. That's a plus, none for 8.
Sometimes needing new tyres can catch us by surprise. That's why Tyre Power gives you the power of Zip Pay and Zip Money. It means you can get what you need now, get back on the road safely and pay for it later, taking advantage of the interest-free periods. So if you need new tyres or mechanical repairs, don't wait till it gets worse. Get them now with Zip Pay or Zip Money at Tyre Power. No fuss, no wait, no worries. Terms and conditions apply. So visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner-operator.
Great stop from George Dockrell. Last ball of the previous over. That had 4 written all over it. Big, juicy, full toss, and Dockrell away to his right. Kept it down to 1. So Ireland would take that. 2 overs gone, just 8 runs conceded. Barry McCarthy to bowl over number 3. Right arm medium pace. Over the wicket, away from us to Warner here. Edge of the circle, and fine leg gone. Just helped off his hip. Australia lose an early wicket. David Warner gone for 3. And Barry McCarthy in the book, first ball. Innocuous shot, nothing to it. 1 for 8, Boof.
Well, he didn't try and hit it, did he? He should have given that the full Monty, David Warner. He'd be disappointed with that one. He, inside, just picked out the man at 45, right on the circle, straight to him. He walks off very disappointed with himself there, David. He normally whacks them for 4 or 6. And that may be the bit of pressure, I suppose, not performing as you would like. But that's a very lucky wicket, but one Ireland will take.
So David Warner, another failure to start the competition. 3 low scores. He was player of the tournament 12 months ago. Mark Adair on the edge of the circle. Caught by him, bowled by McCarthy. Wicket first ball. We saw McCarthy was pretty effective at the MCG. We saw all the analytics from CricViz. He landed 30% of his deliveries on what they defined as a good line and a good length, the most on show in that game against England. So that's what you can expect from him, although that was sort of help yourself stuff, a bonus.
Yeah, it was. That's a bonus. They'll be very happy with that. I mean, they've had a good start. First over was a little bit short. That was a 4-ball sort of missed out by David Warner there. He normally put them away. And now it brings Mitch Marsh, who has been in good form. He will take the game on early. So they've got to wrestle some ascendancy back. I know it's early days, but get back into the game.
McCarthy to Marsh. Bowls here. Marsh pulls hard towards deep backwards square. One bounce boundary. First 4 of the night.
And
so
that's
an
what
eventful
happens.
couple of deliveries from McCarthy. A wicket, then a 4, and Marsh away straight away. 1 for 12.
Yeah, too short early. Pitch the ball up. Oh, you're not going to get Mitch Marsh out there. That's what he will do. He'll hurt you every day if you drop short. He's a big man, plays in Perth, likes the short ball, cross-bat shots, but you've got to get him driving. Try and beat him on either side of the bat. Caught behind, they've got to slip in place, or LBW. That's the way you get him out. If they drop there, the game will disappear very quickly.
So that's the short side of the ground. He'll take on the short ball. McCarthy bowls and Marsh clips off his pad out towards deep back to square. Make that deep mid-wicket by the time it arrives with Gareth Delaney. 1 for 13. Halfway through the 3rd over.
I was actually speaking to Mitch Marsh the other day at the airport when you're sort of in transit and you run into him, and he was saying, you know, really looking forward to if they get the chance to bat first to really just express himself on the competition, and he gets that tonight with the early wicket of David Warner. He'll be disappointed with that. Very unlucky. That can happen in this format of the game.
So McCarthy is away from us at the Vulture Street end. Delivers here to the captain, Finch. Finch goes back to pull this time, but won't beat Dare on the edge of the circle on the 45. He's been busy already. Bowling the 2nd over, taking a catch. That's exactly what Ireland needed. You mentioned it in our pre-game, Darren, that if they get a couple of wickets inside the power play, that'll change the conversation away from net run rate. I mean, Australia need to be thinking about net run rate. They'd be negligent if they didn't. But if they're 2 or 3 down early on, well, they'll just take the 2 points, to use the cliche.
Yeah, they'll try to. Yeah. Oh, if they get 2 wickets early, it'd be right in the game.
McCarthy bowls and Finch off the back foot, cuts. Here is a bit of frustration there, like he didn't quite middle it. We heard that a few times from the captain at Perth last week. He's 6, 1 for 14, 1 ball left in the 3rd.
Yeah, they've just got to break the shackles, Aaron Finch, I think. Don't worry, but you've got enough batting depth in the side. We're talking Wade at 7, really. Cummins can bat, Stark can bat. I mean, if really this format of the game, and Mitch Marsh is probably one, he'll take it on. We saw Storness the other night, that 17-ball 50 was unbelievable in Perth.
McCarthy, last ball of his first over, bowls here, and leaving alone is Marsh outside the off stump, through to the gloves of Tucker. We're halfway through the Thai power plays on Kumo. Australia, 1 for 14.
Hello, it's Emma Martino from State Transport. If you have a truck, crave a work-life balance and the option to work your way, become an owner-driver for State Transport. Apply today. statetransport.com.au/drivers.
Get ready for McHappy Day, Saturday 19th of November, and buy your silly socks at Macca's today for just $5. There are 2 designs to collect, and all profits go towards helping seriously ill children and their families through RMHC, while socks last.
SEN T20 World Cup cricket, the host plus, that's a plus. Interesting, we're seeing a change of ends for Josh Little. He bowled over number 1 from the Vulture Street end and was too short. Got away with it, only conceded 5 runs, and now the man who knocked over Josh Buttler and Alex Hales in his previous start will come down from the Stanley Street end. He'll keep 1 slip. That's Paul Sterling. Deep 3rd and a deep backward square outside the circle. Thai power play. Power plays on Kumo. Over the wicket to Finch. Yep. It's short. It's wide. Outside the off stump. Just 1 out towards extra cover. I'll tell you what, that throw that came in from George Dockrell, had that hit, that might have been interesting. I mean, my impression was Finch was through comfortably, but the reaction of the fielder, yeah, absolutely. Finch gave up. The reason he looked like it was a comfortable single was that he knew he was gone by metres.
It was one of those ones. He was gone easily, wasn't he? Those little opportunities in games, especially in T20, fielding is such a big part. We've had 2 sort of half opportunities, hasn't he, already, Dockrell?
Just got his angle wrong there by the looks. He didn't realise it was Dockrell. Little bowls here to Marsh, the taller of the 2 men, who defends out towards point. And what do you know, it's Dockrell again, getting his 4th touch early on. Inside the power play, Thai power plays on Kumo. 1 for 15 in the 4th over. Ireland won the toss and elected to field.
That's a better length there from Little. He was too short in his first over. He got away with it, really, to be fair. But that ball there is about the right length you want to be here. Any shorter than that, Mitch Marsh will hit it well in front of mid-wicket if it drops short.
Little left arm over, Stanley Street end. Delivers again to Marsh, who works off the back foot, this time through the hands of the man on the edge of the circle. They'll get one through backward point. That's Gareth Delaney. Should have been a dot. They get through for a single. Marsh is 6, 1 for 16 the score.
Well, tell what it looks like. It does look a good wicket. Yes, it might be a little bit slow, but it's not doing much. It's not swinging, so they're going to chop and change their bowlers. That would be the coaching staff and Nathan Horrocks actually going, keep changing. Don't give anyone a good look. Get through the power play. Try and pick a couple of wickets. Get our spinners to the big end. Get them on early if you can. Sneak a couple overs to the short end where you possibly can with the quicks.
Finch on 7. Faces Little, hits him on the shoulder, through to the gloves. Short ball he ducked into. We're behind it. I think it's off the shoulder. We'll get a look on the replay screen for Beaumont Tiles. Need Tiles, choose Beaumont's. Seeing it here. Yep, off the front shoulder, ballooned up to Lorcan Tucker.
He's just letting him hit him on the Beaumont Tiles replay there. It's one of those rippers. Aaron Finch would normally hit that out of the ground.
Yeah.
That says to me he's not watching the ball hard enough and he's not confident. So he may as well take the game on. We've seen it change. Fine leg goes back. Third man comes up. You've got 2 back. It might be the old reverse march and not bowl short and actually to the big boundary. We'll wait and see.
2 balls left in the over. Little delivers. Back of a length. Finch forces off the back foot and breaks the shackles. Out towards the point boundary. He's 11. Australia 1 for 20. That's better.
Yeah, it's a lot better. He sort of gave himself some room, didn't he? Hit it well, timed it beautifully off the back foot there. Didn't move too much, kept his head still and watched the ball make good connection and hit that through cover for 4.
So 6 runs off the over so far, but a modest power play inside 3.5 overs. There's 20 runs coming. This has got to be the time that Finch goes through the gears and makes the most of just 2 fielders being out. 5 inside the circle on the offside. Last ball of Little's over. Bowls to Finch again off the back foot, but this time picks out the man at extra cover. That's the captain, Andy Balbirnie. 4 overs gone, Australia 1 for 20 with Finch on 11, Marsh on 6 in our coverage for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Sasha has a restaurant. Her challenge. Renew her business insurance policy and save money. Sasha, your time starts...
Yeah, it's all done.
But how could you...
I just went online to BizCover and got a business insurance pack. Saved me around $600.
But I want more drama.
Yeah, I don't.
There are literally no dramas when you go to BizCover, the business insurance specialists. Save time, money and get instant cover at bizcover.com.au.
So 1 for 20 as we start the 5th over. It's going to be Mark Adair. So he bowled 1 over from the Stanley Street end and had 3 runs taken from it. He's been in the game. He was the man who caught David Warner at short fine leg. No slip now. In towards Marsh on 6. Wide of the crease bowls here. Marsh hit on the front pad. Shout for leg before. Only the bowler was interested. I don't expect they'll go upstairs. Looked like it was sliding from our angle, Darren Lehmann.
Yeah, I think just sliding down. Not too much, though. It's a good length. If he picks it up, it's the short side. That's probably going all the way. But they've obviously got a team plan. Don't give them another look at a bowler. They've changed bowlers every time, so
yep.
It's not a bad way to go about it against someone like Mitch Marsh who likes to get into some rhythm. Aaron Finch, keep chopping and changing. It's been an impressive start from Ireland.
Yeah, they do play a lot of T20 international cricket, Ireland, so they're used to gaming these matchups. Adair bowls and Marsh tries to swing over mid-wicket. It ends up finding it inside edge and landing rather at a deep backward square. Gets 1. He's 7. 1 for 21 the score. We're in the 5th over. There's one hand off the bat by the time contact was made. Pace off from Adair.
It might be a little bit slow, the wicket. If you hit that, that's hitting the scoreboard.
Yes.
That's a big hit. You know, so Aaron Finch, don't be afraid to take the game on, especially his short side. We talked about pre-match, you know, going at 10 and over to the short side. So far they've got 5 and 6. So need a couple of big overs to this end.
Bowling here to Finch, who cuts hard, cuts well. Wide of the man at deep point, they'll get 2. Finch up to 13 from 13 deliveries, 1 for 23, halfway through the 5th over. Yes, we also mentioned before the networks joined us that batting first at the Gabba, for whatever reason, tends to work. 5 out of 7 completed T20 I's here have been won by the side batting in the first innings, including yesterday, where Bangladesh held off Zimbabwe just. Adair delivers and Finch swings over mid-wicket. That goes into the crowd. Our first big one of the night. That'll do wonders for the confidence. He's 19, 1 for 29.
And that's where he should go. Almost not every ball in a power play, but you want to be going there quite a lot. Take the game on Aaron Finch. That's what he's good at. All of a sudden, it puts the pressure back on the bowler. He's now 19 off 14. He's hit that off a length. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the ball either. That's taking the game on. Yep. So, cricket's the winner there. It's a big crowd. It's a short side. It's probably a 60-metre hit. 65 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that is the short bat. He didn't kind of get all of it, but I suppose when you're hitting in that direction, all the range hitting that you guys do at training in your T20 sides these days, that's fine. Adair again to Finch, who's beaten outside the off-stump, a ball that really takes off and misses on the cut. So he stays on 19. There's one ball left in the 5th over. 1 for 29.
Tolles replay there. Just sat in the wicket, that one. I think he should still go to the short side.
Yeah.
I mean, if he half hits it, it's still going for 6. For our listeners out there, they've got a big side. The deep backward point would be 80 metres away from play.
Last ball of the 5th. Into Finch's Adair. It's a slower ball and it misses. Well wide of the off stump. Wide signalled by umpire Gaffney. 1 for 30. So there have been 10 runs taken from the overs so far. The busiest for Australia inside the Thai power play. Power plays on Kumo.
And that's what we talk about. The 10 off the short end all the time. If they do that, they're going to get a very big total. Because the other end, you get plenty of room to hit the gaps here and 1s and 2s.
Adair approaches and bowls, and Finch just chips this over. Extra cover. 1 bounce, 2 bounce over the rope. So a really good over from the Australian captain. 14 runs off it. The hosts move along to 1 for 34. Finch up to 23. 1 over left in the power play for Thai Power. Thai Power power play. Power plays on Kumo.
Sustained performance in cricket is more than just one great innings. It's about performing consistently day after day, match after match. Host Plus delivers strong performance over the long term with top returns over 20 years. A top performing super fund over the long term, that's a plus.
Super Ratings SR50 Balance Index, August 2022. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Search, compare Host Plus today.
That over. Beaumont's Tiles needs Tiles choose Beaumont's. That was just a calculated chip, wasn't it? He didn't try and overhit it. He didn't try and hit it for 6, knowing where the field was. Good cricket.
It was good cricket. And he looks a bit calmer now after that 6. Yeah. The previous over, he's now 23 off 16, and that sort of gets your innings going. Interesting. Spin to play its first part in the power play.
Yes, Gareth Delaney. Career best figures earlier in the competition, taking 3 for 16 in the group stage. Bowling here to Mitchell Marsh. First ball catches the call, but no one's catching that at mid-off. Really well placed by the all-rounder. Gets his second boundary down to long off. Marsh 11, Australia 1 for 38.
Well, he's so powerful. He just can hit it. He didn't really connect well, but it beat mid-off quite comfortably. Good pace. If he pitched it up, and he'll just hit through the line. He'll be targeting a bowler. It's not going to spin a lot on this wicket.
He'll give it a rip, Delaney. That 3 for 16 against the West Indies was instrumental in restricting their fellow full member. Ended up winning that game by 9 wickets. Aggressive bowler. Delivers here to Marsh, who's forward in defence. Collects it in his follow-through. The man with 64 in his shirt.
It's a bit of length. Got to be there. Just got to get into the wicket and hopefully it holds.
Deep mid-wicket. Long on. Bowls here. Marsh sweeping. Doesn't beat Josh Little at backward square. Well played and well fielded.
Very well fielded there from Josh Little. He hit that really hard.
He's given that everything, Marsh. You know how much he loves to sweep. 1 for 38. 3 left in the power play. Delaney here over the wicket with his leg breaks. Marsh again is forced to defend. And Delaney scampers across to his right to deny a single. Good cricket from Ireland.
Yeah, good comeback. First ball went for 4, 3 drops. Build some pressure on Mitch Marsh. Big shot coming. Mind you, if he hits it at 6, it doesn't matter where the fielders are with Mitch Marsh. He takes it on.
Delaney bowls and Marsh goes back. And pushes out to mid-off, no singles. So 3 dots in the over. Delaney trusted as Ireland's #1 spinner. He overtook George Dockrell, who's in the side, but as a batting all-rounder these days.
I think you find Dockrell and him will bowl a lot of overs now from this end.
So 4 dots on the trot. Last ball, Delaney's first over, and the power play defended again. Shout for league before from the bowler. Pad bat, not out given, no review considered. End of the power play, just 4 runs coming from Delaney there. Well bowled, good start from the leg spinner. Australia 1 for 38, SEN T20 World Cup cricket for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Jenny is a consultant. Her challenge. Renew her professional indemnity insurance for less. Jenny, are you
I did it online.
Already?
I just went to bizcover.com.au, compared policies from top insurers and saved hundreds.
It's not very dramatic.
Well, I also earned Qantas points with Qantas Business Rewards.
Ooh. Saving money with the business insurance specialists is so easy, there are literally no dramas. Go to bizcover.com.au to get instant cover online and save.
But Darren Lehmann, you were watching the Beaumont Tiles replay screen between overs there, and that was a pretty good shout.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether it was pad first on that one. The keeper wasn't interested, was he? Tucker, he was just happy to move on to the next over. And what a great finish from Delaney there. First ball goes to 4, then 5 dots. That's the perfect reply in the power play. That's not a bad power play for Ireland there.
Yeah, they've done well, conceding just 38 runs and getting rid of David Warner. So the field back, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square and deep point to the long side of the ground. 3 protecting the short boundary. Fionn Hand playing just his 4th international. Great story. The only player in this Irish squad not to be a full-time cricketer.
What's he
Currently
do?
working on a 9-month deal. He runs a coffee cart. Fionn Hand, away from us. First ball of the match to Aaron Finch. It's full and straight and dug out to long on. They get a single. The captain's 24, 1 for 39. He takes a coffee cart down to Clontarf Cricket Club on a Saturday when he's not playing. But yes, he got given one of those sort of incremental contracts for having played enough domestic cricket through the Irish summer season and found himself on the plane. Come to Australia, you need to play in a World Cup.
That's a great story, isn't it? That's what's great about this men's T20 World Cup here. The nations like Ireland finding someone in their local leagues.
Fionn Hand bowls here to Marsh, pulls across the line, bobbles up to short fine. They want a single, and Aaron Finch sends Marsh back. Rightly so, there was no single there. Just for a moment, the Irish were interested in an inside edge onto the thigh pad, but the Beaumont Tiles replay screen would suggest it was all thigh. Need Tiles choose Beaumont, stays at 1 for 39. Yes, Fionn Hand, his first legal delivery at the MCG, castled Ben Stokes with an absolute beauty and sprinted away out towards the crowd of what there was.
Buckle up here.
Bowling to Marsh on 11. He takes him on and goes huge over mid-wicket. Is that a second decker? It sure is. That's gone 10 rows back in the second deck. Marsh's second 60, you called that perfectly, Boof. 1 for 45.
Yeah, great shot. He's targeting him, definitely. Fionn Hand might be worried as he's running the bowl with a cappuccino. He'll be worried about that because I'll tell you what, Mitch Marsh will target a bowler, and this is the bowler he's going to target. It won't matter. The fielders have got 45 up at third man and short fine leg. They've got 3 out. Deep forward square, deep mid-wicket, deep mid-on. He's not worried about it. This is the over where this kick starts the Australian innings. Or Ireland get a wicket.
That's gone 102 metres. Fionn Hand, what's the response like? It's a slower ball. Well bowled. Beats Marsh, who tried to pull him in the same direction but was through the stroke too early. Stays at 1 for 45. Marsh, 17 from 16. 2 6 and a 4 in that.
Off pace. Tiles replay there. One of the things you'll see from Mitch Marsh here is that he'll take the game, he'll pick his bowlers. That's where he's really improved his game. So he'll be targeting Fionn Hand.
So long off goes back as well. Change of field. Fionn Hand bowls to Marsh, short ball, bouncer over his helmet, called a wide. So he's put him off here. After the 6, we've seen a decent slower ball, but yes, that was an easy decision for umpire Gaffney. 1 for 46. It was nowhere near the target. Third wide so far.
Well, it looks like the rain stayed away. Perfect night now, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful here in Brisbane.
Fingers crossed.
Hand to the crease, bowls to Marsh, 4, again over mid-wicket, again into the crowd. Second time in the over. That didn't go 102 metres, but it doesn't matter to the short side here at the Gabba. The 50's up, 1 for 52. We've still got one ball left in the 7th. Marsh up to 23 from 17.
This is the over, isn't it? That's the over you're worried about. But they've got a plan. They still haven't used anyone twice. Toll's replay. And he literally just picked it up. And he only has to half hit it because it is not a big boundary out there.
So last ball of a busy over. Handballs, full toss, and Marsh doesn't make the most of it. Knocks it down to long on. They'll get one. They'll have to be satisfied with that. Good fielding in off the rope there by Harry Tector. End of a big over for Australia with the 2 sixes. 1 for 53 after 7. Marsh joins Finch on 24. Our coverage is for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Time to renovate and want Aussie made? Check out Beaumont's Aussie made specials. Not $40 a square metre, priced from just $17.95. All other Aussie floor tiles 20% off, plus hybrid flooring up to 20% off too. Choose Beaumont's and save.
Right, so we are going to see George Dockrell, the second spinner used for Ireland so far, with Gareth Delaney bowling one over a leg spin inside the power play. Nobody's taken more T20 international wickets than George Dockrell. It's just that he doesn't bowl an awful lot these days. He's turned himself into quite a good number 6.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. I think they're going to find the 6th bowl. They'll use him a bit to the big boundary. So they've already gone, you've seen Fionn Hahn go for 15 off his first over. You'll chop and change your quicks at this end, and they'll continue to bowl their spin. Delaney and Dockrell, that if Dockrell bowls well this over, he'll get another one. They'll chop and change that for the next few overs. But the innings starting to get going now, isn't it? That last over, 15. The last 2 overs, the short end have gone 14 and 15.
So 3 out on the leg side, the long boundary, plus the deep point on the short boundary. Dockrell left arm spin round the wicket. Marsh takes an easy single down to long off to start the fresh set. He's 25, 1 for 54. So Marsh, who of course made an unbeaten 77 in the World Cup final last year in Dubai, player of that final. Had a brilliant 2021. Started that year outside the T20 side and ended it the most important player. Finch on strike to Dockrell here. Up and over the top of cover. It'll land just short of the man at long off who's running around to sweep. They'll get back for 2. So Finch overtakes Marsh, 26 and 25 respectively. 1 for 56 now, 2 balls into the 8th.
Just give himself a bit of room to left armers and go over that cover area. He'll continue the same thing, I reckon. This is when we're talking hitting deep pockets and picking the gaps, 1s and 2s.
Dockrell delivers round the wicket. Finch comes forward, turns it round to the man at short fine. No single on the arm of Barry McCarthy. Stays at 1 for 56.
And then you'll find they'll attack this end, the Vulture Street end. This is the short side. So they'll try and go at, say, 6 and 7s from this end.
Dockrell delivers. Finch again, this time gets a square up. The deep backward square, gets 1. Joins Marsh on 26. Sorry, correction, make that 27. 1 for 57 the score.
It's been a good little partnership. This got them going. Mitch Marsh started slow and then just picked it up last over.
Will Marsh try and go big again? Facing Dockrell here. Happy just to work this into the fat side of the ground. Gets 1. They might get 2. It's well weighted. Dockrell, the bowler, has to race all the way out to the square leg umpire to collect it. In the end, the sweeper racing in off the long rope beats into the ball. So 1 for 59 now, Australia. 1 ball left in the 8th.
Bit of discussion there from Aaron Finch and the umpire about throwing the ball just outside the circle onto the rough. The second pitch they used for the last game.
Okay.
Just to try and soften the ball. That's nothing wrong with that.
So that's just to be clear, that's not about reverse, obviously, in white ball cricket. That's about trying to get the ball soft. Yeah. Last ball of the 8th. Dockrell here. Marsh working it out to deep mid-wicket. Another chance for 2 here if Finch wants it. Wade on's the call. They're satisfied with the single. So Marsh will retain the strike. He's 28. Finch is 27. 8 overs gone. 1 for 60 the score.
Get the power of safer tyres before you go on holidays. A road safety message from Tyre Power.
Correct tyre inflation is the single most important part of tyre care. It helps keep them in good condition to provide optimum performance and maximum life. The best thing you can do before a long journey is check your tyre pressure and top them up with air if needed. And don't forget to check the spare tyre too.
Get the power of expert advice. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent. Visit tyrepower.com.au for your local owner operator.
SEN T20 World Cup cricket for Host Plus, that's a plus. Adam Collins with you, a World Cup winner, both as a player and a coach. Darren Lehmann with me. Here at the Vulture Street of the Gabba, where Barry McCarthy is preparing to send out his second over. His first one was successful.
Well, strap in again, short side. We'll talk about it all night, but this is what Mitch Marsh will do. They need to get him out.
It's 28 from 21. McCarthy here to Marsh, who edges, caught behind. McCarthy does it again. And Marsh is gutted, throws his bat on the Brisbane turf. Has to go, 28 from 22, his contribution. Australia 2 for 60. Not a good replay for him either.
I tell you what that is in the Beaumont Tiles replay. That is a big wicket for Ireland because Mitch Marsh is always going to go this short side. You now get someone like Glenn Maxwell coming in who will take a few overs to get going. Yes, they'll bat for a bit now. They can't afford to lose another wicket too quickly. Mitch Marsh will be disappointed with that. Just almost skidded on, didn't it?
A little under edge. It wasn't the conventional sort of caught behind, so Lorcan Tucker did well. Never easy, those for wicket keepers. And Barry McCarthy for the second time strikes with the first ball of his over. And the roar you can hear is for Glenn Maxwell walking out his 97th T20 International. In excess of 2,000 runs in this format of the game, including 3 centuries, the only Australian to hit 3 T20 international tons. But he walks in with Ireland in a good position considering the way Mitch Marsh was going. 2 for 60. And McCarthy, the man with the golden arm, 2 wickets already.
Well, Glenn Maxwell, he's the type of player you want in this situation. They've done well, Ireland. They're just hanging in there, aren't they? Got through 8 overs now, and they haven't really got away from them to the short end either. Those couple overs, couple of sixes, well, 3 sixes from Mitch Marsh and Aaron Finch, and that's about it, really. They've controlled it apart from that.
So Maxwell gets an early look. McCarthy bowls to him here. He takes a single, maybe 2 at the deep cover. In the end, an easy 2. Finch calls his fellow Victorian through. 2 for 62. 2 balls into the 9th over. Yes, Glenn Maxwell made his debut a decade ago against Pakistan. Had that low run of scores in the lead up to the tournament. But 28 against New Zealand, top scoring in a losing effort, and 23 in a hurry against Sri Lanka to kickstart that chase. So finding a little bit of form. Facing McCarthy here, Maxwell again finds that gap at cover and again calls his captain through for 2. Well played.
Well, it's too deep out there, the fielder. That's an easy 2. And Glenn Maxwell started beautifully. That's what you want. You want to be busy. They actually should bring him 15, 20 off the fence there. He's too deep. That's a big hit to get out of there. It's a no-no. And that's just experience.
So the deep cover and then 3 out on the leg side on the short boundary. Will Maxwell attack it early? McCarthy was about to bowl but pulled out there. Maxwell playing in his 5th T20 World Cup. Hit the winning runs last year with a switch hit there at Dubai. It's not fitting, but Australia would win the trophy with Maxwell doing something like that.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player. If he has a night out, they'll make plenty. You know, we're 8 overs in, but you can certainly get a big back end. You can get, 110, 120 in the back end of an innings.
McCarthy right arm over, bowls to Maxwell. Does go to the short boundary, doesn't get much of it. Nearly an opportunity for the man racing in from the long on rope. But too much work for Adair to do. They come back for 2. But yes, high on the bat, 2 for 66. Maxwell 6 from 3 balls. That could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, could have picked the gap beautifully, some would say. I mean, he's one of those players that he has a night on. He just absolutely can get going and really turn the game in his favour.
And he knows too, he's reached that point of his career where he's kind of at peace with things. He's just laughing after that shot. He knows he shanked it. Will he go again? McCarthy to him here. He's got 2 wickets. Maxwell steers this to deep third. Easy single, 2 for 67. So 7 from his first 4 deliveries. Strike rate of 150 in T20 international cricket, Maxwell.
Yeah, he hits so many different areas of the ground. If you've got some pace, you can actually force him to, hit to a big boundary and get him out in the hook shot. But he's got so many different areas he can hit the ball. Spin is going to play a big part in Glenn Maxwell because he'll look to hit it, reverse the short side and pick the gap for 2. So it's an interesting over to see whether they go spin or another quick.
Long on comes up for Finch. Last ball of the over. Finch swats it down to deep mid-wicket. There'll be a single there. He'll retain the strike. He moves along to 28. He's there with Maxwell on 7. A successful over for Ireland, though, getting rid of Mitch Marsh. Then 8 runs coming thereafter. 2 for 68, and our coverage is for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Kane has a carpentry business. His challenge to renew his public liability insurance for less than his old policy. On your marks, get set.
Yeah, I just did it.
What?
Yeah, I went online to BizCover. Took 5 minutes. I compared a bunch of policies. I saved over $250.
So, no dramas?
No dramas at all.
There are literally no dramas when you go to BizCover, the business insurance specialists. Save time, money, and get instant cover at bizcover.com.au.
Between overs, Steve Smith got all the way out to the 30-yard circle with Glenn Maxwell's hat. With spin on, Maxwell likes the bat without a helmet, but then Maxwell shoot him away. So happy to stick with the lid for the time being. It will be make that Delaney to bowl his second over of leg spin.
Just save time, Glenn Maxwell. The bat without a helmet, or bat with it. But they're going to have the quicks going on this over, so you just can't keep running on and off. He knows that.
So Finch 28 from 21 so far. Delaney's got 3 out on the leg side. Bowls here. Finch goes back, pulls to a gap at deep mid-wicket. Wants 2, only gets 1. That's 29, 2 for 69. That's the start of the 10th over here on SEN Test Cricket with Adam Collins and Darren Lehmann. SEN Test Cricket, make that SEN T20 World Cup cricket. That's muscle memory for you.
Yeah. Well, there was 2 there. I don't know what happened there for Glenn Maxwell. He might have wanted to face a spinner.
Yes.
We've got 2 back here, backward point and short third man. So the reverse is on, or he might go cover.
So 5 back. Delaney bowls to Maxwell, who tries to sweep. Shout for lead before, and given. Umpire Menon raises the finger. Maxwell tried to play a standing sweep. He goes upstairs.
Straight away.
We'll get a first look at the replay here. It looked like it might have pitched outside leg, but the finger went up with the appeal. So Maxwell's been given out for 7. We'll go upstairs and we'll find out what that's done on the way through. Darren Lehmann.
Well, I think it's missing leg anyway, to be fair, but I reckon he's confident he's hit that, so we'll get the replay. There's no talk. He just went straight up, didn't he? He didn't even bother. But I think it's probably missing leg anyway.
So the third umpire is Kumar Dharmasena. I mean, we haven't seen ball tracking yet, but gut is, it'll be lucky to be pitching aside the line of the leg stump. And then it does kind of look to be sliding, doesn't it? And there might have been an inside edge.
Yeah, there's an inside edge there. That's it. It was
there's the edge.
Straight away, wasn't he? In the Beaumont Tiles replay.
So Maxwell knew. Umpire Menon, you're going to have to change your decision. 3 for 69 becomes 2 for 69. Not often that he gets them wrong. It's a bad one. Delaney.
Security guard.
Is held up by a security guard behind the bowler's arm. Pretty much every game you do, you can guarantee at one point or another. Okay, they reset. Maxwell 7 faces Delaney. Switch hit. Shout for lead before again. Finger stays down this time. Decision for Andy Balbirnie. Tucker liked it, the keeper. Delaney did too. And I think they're going upstairs based on the body language. And they are.
Well, 2 in 2 balls. Yeah. To Beaumont Tiles. They're pretty confident this one, the bowler and the keeper. The keeper knocked back the last one. Delaney's very confident with this one. So's the skipper.
We see Maxwell play that shot routinely. It's not a rarity and oddity when it comes to the Victorian. Let's watch the first replay here for Beaumont Tiles. So Maxwell's into position. And that doesn't look a bad shout. Got to go on the front pad, don't they, Buff?
Yeah. I think it's going to be umpire's call, though, for pitching outside. It'll be interesting to see how this plays because of the switch hit.
Well, he has changed his hands.
No bat there.
you can go to the ball tracking.
So off the ball tracking goes Kumar Dharmasena. He's satisfied there's no edge on the way through. That's an easy decision. The dramatic music from television comes through as well.
It's a bit close, you think. It'll all get down to where the ball pitches.
Ball tracking, waiting for the ball tracking.
Okay, so here's ball tracking. It is pitching outside leg.
Pitch outside the leg.
So Maxwell
anything you can stay with your original decision, not out.
Had to wait it out from consecutive deliveries. Both times going his way. Tell you what, though.
Now, for me, I'm changing that law. He switched hit, shouldn't be outside leg, and that's probably hitting the stumps.
Yeah, I agree with you. Delaney bowls to Maxwell flatter. Maxwell doesn't beat short fine. Roars no. He's not happy with himself there, Maxwell. He goes to 7 from 6 deliveries. 2 for 69 halfway through the 10th, but he should have left that. That was a wide, but he wanted to make the most of it. Instead, a dot ball for Ireland. 2 to come. Delaney here to Maxwell. Again tries to sweep standing up. Goes beyond the keeper. This time it's signalled wides. The tidying up done by Theon Hands. So a scrappy over this from Delaney. 2 for 71 with those 2 wides added to the score. Still 2 balls to come.
It's been a different over, hasn't it? It's had everything. Lots of stopping.
Delaney could do with taking a breath here. I mean, he's racing to the crease. Chill out, young man. Bowls here to Finch, the captain. Forward. Quick single. Tucker gets to throw the keeper. Throws at the stumps that Maxwell was charging towards. But Maxwell is rapid and he's through, and it wasn't a direct hit anyway. 2 for 72. 1 ball left before we reach halfway. Alert cricket from the Irish wicketkeeper. Took the gloves a couple of years ago when Marlo O'Brien retired. Long and distinguished career. Lorcan Tucker's started well, though. Had a good World Cup. To finish here at Maxwell, Delaney bowls. Leg break. Maxwell goes straight back over his head and thumps it into the side screen. So ends the 10th over with authority. Maxwell moves into double figures with his first 6. He's 13. And after 10 overs, Australia 2 for 78. SEN T20 World Cup cricket. The Host Plus, that's a plus. We'll take a break.
Winning in cricket is hard. You need to perform at your best, day in, day out. It's the same with your super. If you're with Host Plus, you're with a top-performing super fund over the long term. Having a top performer on your side, that's a plus. Host Plus.
Super Ratings SR50 Balance Index, August 2022. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Search Compare Host Plus today.
Right-arm medium pace over the wicket, away from us. The Warner here, edge of the circle at fine leg, gone. Just helped off his hip. Australia lose an early wicket. David Warner gone for 3. Bowling to Marsh on 11. He takes him on and goes huge over mid-wicket. Is that a second decker? It sure is. That's gone 10 rows back in the second deck. Marsh's second 6, you called that perfectly booked. So 2 for 78 at the halfway mark. Drinks are on the field with Aaron Finch, 29 from 23. A 6 and a couple of 4s in that. Glenn Maxwell, 13 from 8. He was given out in the 10th over leg before. That was overruled. He was given not out from one that I think, Darren, we both agree there is a bit of grey area there in the laws with switch hitting and leg before decisions at the moment, but he benefited from the status quo. And then he finished the over, going straight back over Delaney's head and hitting it into the side screen. A classic Glenn Maxwell experience.
It was a classic Glenn Maxwell over, really. I mean, he could have hit 20 off that over.
Yes.
We had 2 DRS decisions. He went straight, beautiful shot, last ball of the over off Delaney for 6. That over had it all. That pretty much summed up the first 10 overs of that innings for Australia. 2 for 78, well placed. Ireland just let it slip the last few overs. They'll need to get a wicket again to put some more pressure on Australia, because you feel like at 2 for 78, if they have a good back end with Maxwell in, targeting this short side, if they have 5 big overs to the short side, they're going to be pushing close to 180 plus, if not 200. I know it doesn't seem like that for our listeners now at 2 for 78.
Yeah.
But 5 overs of 12, 10 or 12 for the short end. one big over and a couple of big ones from the long end, and you're looking at 200. So it's well placed.
So Josh Little, 11 taken from his first 2, the quickest of the Irish bowlers. In here at Finch. Over the wicket, Finch places him straight to backward point on the bounce. Paul Sterling fielding there. And again, you can hear Finch through the stump, Mike, but he's been almost a special comments man on his own batting in this tournament so far, hasn't he?
He has. I mean, the way they've gone about it, they've thought about it very well with Darren Finch. I mean, he got off to a bit of a flyer and he's stagnated. They're changing the field to him all the time. Square legs come up. So fine legs stay back. Square legs come up.
And Maxwell, when I had just a brief word with him there, former housemates, of course, these two, weren't they?
Lived together, close mates,
days.
best of mates.
Yep. Josh Little has that extra yard. Into Finch here. Can he force a mistake? It's short, pace off. Place to mid-off. They want one, but in the end, that's not the right call there. Happy to absorb a dot. So a couple of those to start the 11th over. 2 for 78. Little watched him bowl against England a couple of years ago over at Malahide when he took 4 early wickets, bounced out Owen Morgan, and for a moment there it looked like they were going to beat England again.
What a great ground that is, isn't it?
Beautiful place, yeah.
Great place. And they've come so far, Ireland. They've been fantastic. When you play, great hospitality, obviously. As a coach, you used to love going there, although too many Guinnesses didn't help.
Little's away from us, Vulture Street end. Close to the stumps, pace off again. Finch just gets it over cover, gets himself a boundary. That wasn't far away from the outstretched hand of the captain, Andy Balbirnie. But Finch's third 4 moves him into the 30s. He's 33 from 26. Australia 2 for 82.
One of the things here in the moment replay, it's actually, don't get too wide. They're actually bowling too wide now. The best way to get wickets is actually just stay at the stumps, hit a good length. Yes, if you go to the short side, that's okay. That's a good shot. And that's just too wide. Aaron Finch can judge that well enough. He knows you're going to bowl wide, so he can move across. He can actually stand there and let it go for a wide if he wants to.
Yeah. 2 out on the offside. Little bowls to Finch. That's straighter and pulled and shanked, but he'll get 1 to deep mid-wicket. 2 for 83. The captain 34 from 27. Little also has that experience through competition. You know, the 100. So he played for the Manchester Originals this year and took a fifer against the Oval Invincibles. And that may not sound like much if you're listening in Australia. What's his 100-ball competition? But some very good cricketers knocking about in that. He's been trusted to lead the attack in one of those new domestic sides. It gives a sense of how he's rated in England too. Little up to the crease. Maxwell on 13 leaves the short ball alone. Oh, it's signalled wide.
A bit unlucky there.
Yeah, my sense watching it from our angle was that was a pretty good short ball, but not the view of Chris Gaffney.
On Toll's replay there. Oh, I'm with you that one. I think that's probably a tough call. But you're right, he's got fifer in the 100. He's got all the tricks as a bowler. I just don't think you want to be too predictable in terms of chopping and changing with your field. They've got a deep backward point, a deep cover. Fine legs just come up, 3 back on the leg side. So they're really just either going full or wide or short or slower.
Little to Maxwell, who edges it behind. Little gets Maxwell. It was full and wide, and he tried to steer it. Instead, a healthy outside edge. Tucker moves to his right. Maxwell's gone for 13. 3 for 84.
Well, that's a big wicket, that. Predicted it was going to go full and wide. Maxwell tried to slice it almost between the short third man and deep backward point and just managed to edge it to the keeper, who takes another very good catch. And that's the end of third. Maxwell would be disappointed with that. It's well wide. And try to slice it. Thick outside edge and well taken. You can see the joy on the Bowman Tolls replay of the Irish. They're very happy with that.
Well, they believe. You can detect from their wicket celebration there. They've got David Warner, Mitch Marsh and Glenn Maxwell back in the hutch. They believe. Marcus Stoinis making his way to the middle. The man who was in form at Perth Stadium last Tuesday. But, yes, that is a big moment. And the Irish fans who are here beneath us at the Vulture Street end of the ground have gone wild as well. Couple more here. And they might have something chaseable later this evening. Interestingly placed game right now. Josh Little has 1 for 17 and he has 1 ball left in his third over.
Well, this is where it becomes interesting how you play it from here, because you're right, you can't lose any more wickets in the next couple of overs, so you've got to sort of wait a little bit. Ireland are doing the right thing here. They've got a new batter in, they've brought the field up, they've got a slip in place. they're thinking, right, if we can get one more wicket here, just bowling good corridor, create a few dots, get it to 4 or 5 for 100, they're in the game.
So Little to Stoinis. His first ball's defended off the middle stump. A successful over for Ireland. 6 runs in the wicket of Glenn Maxwell. Australia 3 for 84 after 11.
Sustained performance in cricket is more than just one great innings. It's about performing consistently day after day, match after match. Host Plus delivers strong performance over the long term with top returns over 20 years. A top performing super fund over the long term, that's a plus.
Super Ratings SR50 Balance Index, August 2022. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Search Compare Host Plus today.
So the ball goes back to George Dockrell. They're going to stick with spin at the Stanley Street end, as you foreshadowed, Darren Lehmann, letting the right-handers hit to the really long boundary, playing all the way across the square tonight.
That's where you wonder whether Ashton Agar could have played the role. That's where you get down to at the end of the day, because it is a big hit out there. Maxwell played that beautiful shot last over off Delaney for 6, but Dockrell smart enough just to keep it tight here. Do they go? Does Aaron Finch take it on? He's really their 6th bowler, isn't he? Yeah,
he's 34, Finch. He sweeps the first ball, shout for leg before it ends up at short fine leg, no single. No review this time around, though.
I'll tell you what, there's been 31 dots already for the Australian team. That's a very good bowling performance from Ireland so far.
Too right it is. Dockrell again to Finch, who this time gets it round the corner behind the square leg umpire. Only one, though. Committed fielding on the edge of the circle there for Barry McCarthy. He was at short fine. It probably wasn't his ball, but he was so determined to get there that it probably put Stoinis off coming back for the second.
Yeah, he was
the man calling. So 3 for 85, Finch 35.
One of the great things about all these sides, not associate, main member, that their fielding is sometimes better than, you know, the Australian team, which, dare I say that, it shouldn't be the case.
Dockrell delivers to Stoinis at the front of the hand, and she mistimes it to Balbirnie at cover. No single. Stoinis, who made a 17-ball half-century against Sri Lanka, the quickest for Australia in this form of the game. 6 sixes. Just thump.
Buddy, time!
Again, it's Balbirnie at cover. This time he can't drag it in. Moving to his right. Stoinis off the front foot gets 1 off the mark from his 3rd ball. 3 for 86, 2 left in the 12th. Yeah, you're right. I think about the associate nations and the full member nations like Ireland and Afghanistan. They talk a lot about what they can control. They're never going to have millions of dollars to spend. Bowling again here is Dockrell and placed into the offside by Finch. No single. A tidy over this one. Just a couple of runs from it so far. Yes, and they see fielding as one of their comparative advantages. Dockrell to finish. Finch again pushing out to cover, just sneaking it past the captain to get 1 and retain the strike. Just 3 singles coming from the 12th over. 3 for 86 with Finch on 36 and Stoinis on 1.
Winning in cricket is hard. You need to perform at your best, day in, day out. It's the same with your super. If you're with Host Plus, you're with a top-performing super fund over the long term. Having a top performer on your side, that's a plus. Host Plus.
Super Ratings SR50 Balance Index, August 2022. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Search Compare Host Plus today.
Great couple of overs for Ireland since the drinks break. They get rid of Glenn Maxwell. They've only conceded 9 runs in those 12 deliveries, and it feels like almost a game in 2 ends right now, Buff. At the short side, our side, they're really taking the game on, but when bowling from the Stanley Street end, it's far more challenging. McCarthy starts his 3rd over away from us, bowls here to Finch, who swings and misses outside the off stump. The keeper, Tucker, takes it.
Well, as I said in the pre-match, you're looking to get 100 to 110 at the short end. Now, Australia have had 3 overs over 10 in their first 6 to the short end. That was 14-15 on the back of those Mitch Marsh and Aaron Finch 6s. But since then, they've kept it reasonably controlled at this end. And then at the other end, Dockrell's bowled a couple of overs. They probably expect him to bowl 1, maybe 2. He's bowled 2 very good overs. And Delaney and him will bowl again. They'll keep bowling until it gets to the stage where they've got to change. Now, changing the field. Square leg's going to come up. So is he going to stay wide?
Well, it worked for Little, didn't it? So Little had that plan and eventually paid off, getting Maxwell in his previous over, trying to bowl out at the tram tracks. 3 out on the offside. McCarthy bowls way out in that direction, and it is signalled a wide. Finch missed it. You've got to be precise if you're going to bowl to that kind of field.
Well, and it's just, isn't it? But it is wide. He's bowling out there. He's got a deep backward point, a deep cover and a deep mid-off. So Aaron Finch is smart enough to know where they're going to bowl. And don't be surprised if he just walks across and plonks him into this stand over here where we've got, what are they? What do you call those? Scouts?
Yeah, good question. I was pondering that before. We're kind of sat behind that group of fans. 3 for 88. McCarthy bowls and again beats Finch. Tries to place it over the top of the man at short third. Nothing on it. We've seen McCarthy already pick up a couple of wickets with his first and 7th deliveries. Having a good night. Could be an early contender for the Biz Cover player of the match. No dramas, business insurance with Biz Cover.
The Troopers, aren't they? Troopers?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, they're not sort of like an organised fan group, so to speak. They're not in costume. They're in uniform.
They're all in uniform. About 200 of them.
McCarthy again passes umpire Gaffney, bowls Finch, uses his feet to get across his stumps and mows it away to deep mid wicket along the carpet. Gets one. Finch 37 from 34. Time for him to start finding the boundary again. 3 for 89 Australia. So Finch kind of got away for a couple of overs there and they've dragged him back.
They have, as you said, 37 off 34 at the moment. They controlled the game this end, and that's the big fear for the Australian team. Marcus Stoinis is probably thinking where they're going to bowl. He's thinking they've got to bowl short and wide or a slow ball into the wicket with the field they got placed.
McCarthy up to Stoinis here. Bowls and Stoinis defends from the stumps. Takes one out to cover. So he's playing himself in. He's 1 from 4. 3 for 90. 2 left in the 13th over. Stoinis didn't really have the chance to play himself in against Sri Lanka because the run rate required was up already around 10. And of course, we know that he finished that game 3.5 overs early. It was that kind of stunning individual performance. But typically, this is how he does it. He gives himself an over or two.
He does give himself an over or two. The problem with that is Aaron Finch has to take responsibility now to take the game on. So he's got to target the short boundary. He's obviously 37 off 34, and you don't want that. You want to be, he wants to be 50 off 34. So he's got to hit a couple of boundaries this over, especially the short side.
So mid-off back up. McCarthy bowls to Finch on 37. He pulls across the line, hits it well. Does he find the gap? Not quite. Deep mid-wicket cuts it off. They get through for a single. Finch 38, 3 for 91. 1 left in the 13th. At least he middled that one. I mean, again, it's been a couple of overs since he's really got it out the screws. So something to work with there. Curtis Camper does the fielding.
I think I get the feeling next over, Aaron Finch, regardless of the big boundary, is going to take on the spinner. I just get that feeling that something's going to give here. So they're going to hit a 20 to the big side.
Back to Stoinis. McCarthy to him here, and he cuts out the deep backward point. There's a sweeper out there. They only get the single. So Stoinis is 3. He keeps the strike. It's 3 for 92 after 13 overs. Our coverage is for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Get the power of safer tyres before you go on holidays. A road safety message from Tyre Power.
Having out-of-balance tyres causes uneven tread wear and an uncomfortable ride. You'll also cop excess wear on your suspension and other parts of your vehicle. If you experience severe vibration while driving, especially highway speeds, get your tyres dynamically balanced at your local Tyre Power store straight away.
Get the power of expert advice. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent. Tyre Power.
Get the power! So they'll stick with spin at the Stanley Street end. It'll be Delaney. So they're rotating their spinners. They're doing a good job of that so far. Andy Balbirnie has made the right call so far tonight. 3 for 92 after 13.
He has. No one's bowled consecutive overs from either end. So their plan is to bowl different looks for the batter.
So deep backward square, deep mid-wicket, long on, long off and deep point. But the 3 on the leg side is where it's pretty much the long side of the ground. Well, Stoinis look to go big this over. Delaney starts, bowls here. Stoinis doesn't quite get it on the full. Hits it straight back at the spinner, who stops it in his follow-through. Good fielding. But even there from Stoinis, before the ball was bowled, he backed away, trying to make space and in the end, well bowled from Delaney. You saw him coming.
Yeah, he likes to go over cover. Marcus Stoinis to spin or straight.
Delaney bowls Stoinis. Gets it down to long off. Gets it straight enough that he might get a boundary. Diving effort right on the rope isn't good enough. So Stoinis gets his first 4. He's 7 from 7 balls. 3 for 96, and that was perfectly timed.
That might kickstart the innings. I think he might go now. He's going to aim straight. Powerful man, Marcus Stoinis. Beaumont told replay. It's one of those ones, if he aims straight, shortest way home at the Gabba is straight. Something going on behind the screen there.
Yes, looks like an advertising board is flashing where it should be black at that end of the ground, so they won't start until that's been dealt with, or restart.
I can never work this out because the bowler is a bit taller than that screen, isn't he?
Well, I mean, it's at different grounds around the world. Bit of a bugbear of mine. As you know, Wolf, having spent a lot of time in the UK at Lords and other grounds, you will have patrons sat underneath the sight screen, and that's not even a problem. Whereas here, of course, the advertising board by definition is kind of knee height or waist height. There's no way that's in the bowler's
No, not even close.
It's just a...
Everything's got to be perfect, and that's not... Sometimes that's not available. So we're actually waiting here for our listeners out there. We're waiting for a little blue fleck, is it?
Yeah,
so, like
at best. You would have been coach, Buff, when... Was it Dhaka where we had to wait about a quarter of an hour in the second over of a test match about 6 or 7 years ago when they had to get all of the sheets out to cover up the sight screen that was malfunctioning before we could continue. You see it from time to time.
You do.
It'll take Australia 11 and over to get to 169. Just had a graphic pop up on the Beaumont Tiles screen. Right, we're away again. Delaney bowls. Stoinis makes room, follows him again, places at the deep mid wicket. He wants 2, Finch wants 2, they'll get 2. Well played. 2 for 98, make that 3 for 98 rather. Stoinis 9 from 8 deliveries.
So stepping away for our listeners out there, he's looking to go straight at the side screen where he hit that previous boundary, or go over cover. There's not much spin, so you may as well just aim at the side screen because they're quite wide at mid-on and mid-off. Plenty of room there, straight over the bowler's arm.
Delaney close to the stumps, bowls to Stoinis, does go straight, does go over long off, and does go into the crowd. Even though there's a fielder there, if you can hit bombs straight like Marcus Stoinis, you don't worry about where the fielders are. He's given that plenty into double figures. Stoinis 15 from 9, his first 6, and the Australian 100 comes up with that stroke as well. 3 for 104, 2 balls left in the 14th over.
Well, 12 off 3 balls he's got going now, hasn't he? So it's all going to be, here we go, the last 6.2 overs. If he's there, they'll get 200 still.
Delaney to Stoinis, tries to go down the ground, but cramped up in the end. Checks his shot, goes wide of long off, gets 1, moves to 16. 3 for 105. Yes, you sense that, well, it was Maxwell before, but Maxwell and or Stoinis, if one of them gets going, they could go really big here, but wasn't to be for Maxwell. Down the leg side here from Delaney, and Finch tries to sweep it standing up. In a way, lucky he missed it. Signalled wide, and they had 1 to the score. 3 for 106. Still 1 to come in over number 14.
He's just got to bowl at the stumps. And hopefully he misses. They need a wicket anyway.
Delaney tries to finish the over. Switch hit from Finch. Gets it out towards deep extra cover. Don't see that too often from the captain. They come back for 2. 3 for 108 after 14. Finch moves to 40. He's faced 36 deliveries. Stoinis with him there on 16, having faced 10. And our coverage is for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Sasha has a restaurant. Her challenge. Renew her business insurance policy and save money. Sasha, your time starts...
Yeah, it's all done.
But how could you...
I just went online to BizCover and got a business insurance pack. Saved me around $600.
But I want more drama.
Yeah, I don't.
There are literally no dramas when you go to BizCover, the business insurance specialists. Save time, money, and get instant cover at bizcover.com.au.
So Finch, the captain, is anchoring this innings at the moment. He's opening and anchoring. Tim David and Matthew Wade to follow. The 2 men more likely to tick the board over at a higher strike rate given what we've seen recently. Mark Adair starts his third over. 17 from his first 2. Away from us, Vulture Street end. Bowls to Stoinis, who goes straight. No long off. That's raced down to the rope. Stoinis is 20 off 11. 3 for 112. And Wolfer, I sense that's a bad call from Andy Balbirnie. With Stoinis batting the way that he does, you've got to have 2 back straight.
Yeah, and wrong call, wrong bowling choice. They didn't have to bowl him if they didn't want to. But they've gone, I think they've just gone to the way where, I know he's got a bit of experience, but I would have seen Little bowl beautifully. They know they're going to go this over. They're going to go target this short boundary.
Now long off goes back. Adair bowls well outside the off stump, and it's signalled a wide. Stoinis saw fit to let it go. Umpire Gaffney unfurls his arms. 3 for 113. We're in over number 15. So in order to get long off back, they've brought square leg up. So the 5 out are at deep backward point, deep cover, long off, long on, and deep mid wicket in the direction of the short boundary.
And the hardest thing is a batter here, well, the easiest thing, you know where the ball's going to be bowled. So he can line it up and he'll be targeting the short boundary. There's no doubt about that.
Adair to the crease, bowls to Stoinis, using his feet, goes long and straight towards us, but it's got to clear the ropes first, and beneath it, there'll be an opportunity. It's dragged back in. We're blinded by the sight screen. Looks like Barry McCarthy's done a brilliant piece of fielding. We'll get a second look on the Beaumont tile screen, Darren Lehmann. Oh, and he has. That is superb fielding. It was right in front of us and the sight screen, so we couldn't see it live, but it looks like he's taken one hell of a tumble as well.
Yeah, he's hurt himself, hasn't he? It's a great effort, I think. So that went so high.
Oh, he saved 6 and done it so well. But he's landed with a real thud, McCarthy. I mean, that is soccer goalkeeper stuff. Up and to his left, and just releases the ball before the full weight of his left leg crashes into the Toblerone. They'll do the boundary check. That'll be all good. Australia will add a couple. But the real concern is, will he be okay to continue? Let's hope so. Back on his feet, having a chat to the Irish physio. They might do a little concussion test while they're there. Can be so hard.
He caught that one-handed as well. Great crowd response here. Somehow he kept that in. Man, serious athletes these days, what they can do on the fence.
Well, what you said before as well about sides like Ireland who put such a premium on their fielding. Now, he saves a couple of runs there, maybe 4 at most. If well, yeah, it would have gone for 6, wouldn't it? So saves 4 runs, but I mean, that wouldn't have been saved. I mean, had we seen that 20 years ago, that would have been the first time we'd ever seen it. Now it's pretty much every game, yeah.
In our day, I'm picking that over the rope, that's 6. That's a great piece of fielding. And the Beaumont Tiles replay there.
And the presence of mind to release it when he did as well, because all that momentum surging towards the turf. Yes. Beautifully done. So back to Stoinis. He stays on strike. He's 22. 3 for 115.
6 coming up.
Adair goes again. Willie goes straight. He goes over the top at deep backward square after getting inside the line. 1 bounce over the rope. Stoinis has seen them so well in this tournament. He's 26 from 13, 3 for 119, and Darren Lehmann, that's such clever batting because he knew there was no way that was going to be in his half.
No, and when you take the stumps out of play in the game of cricket, it makes it a lot easier to bat against, and they're just allowing him to free his arms. Now, they're not even bowling the stumps now, and this is the over that really kickstarts an innings. When you're talking 2 boundaries already, you've got 3 balls to come. So he'll keep targeting the short side. You're going to go round the wicket for a change. That's not going to matter because what Marcus Stoinis is going to do is bat outside off stump. He knows he's going to have to bowl around the wicket and wide.
So they're going to tweak the field. Even though he's going around the wicket, they're going to stick with the same configuration on the onside. So, well, they're going to move long on straighter and deep mid wicket to, I suppose, more a cow corner. 3 out on the offside. 3 balls left in Adair's over. Bowls here outside the off stump. Stoinis makes great contact, but straight to the sweeper at deep cover. 3 for 120. He's up to 27 from 14 balls, Stoinis.
Well, that's well bowled. That was full. It was wide, but he got it right that time. So change the plan work. Aaron Finch's turn to get in the action here. I'm going to call it again. He's going to try and hit a 6 to the short boundary. You say that enough, actually. You're going to get it right, aren't you?
I think you might be right. Will he get it in the slot? Finch's turn on 40, though. Adair here outside the off stump. Again, wide signal. Second time in the over. Hasn't quite got it right. 3 for 121. We're getting a close-up on the Beaumont Tiles screen of what we thought might be some Rangers. I said before they're in uniform, not costume. I think on second glance, maybe they are in costume. They didn't. Yes. We better take a look during the interval and give a conclusive answer. 10 extras in the inning so far. 2 left in the 15th here. Adair over the wicket to Finch. It's short, it's wide, it's down the leg side, it's wide again. 11 sundries in the inning so far. 3 for 122. Adair needs to get out of this over now.
And this is the difference when you're playing these nations. You know, Australia can put some pressure on you very quickly with this. Ireland have just lost their way in the last couple of overs. They've gone too funky almost.
Yeah.
Instead of just actually bowling to the top of off or using a change of pace or at the stumps, they've got funky fields. You can lose your way quite quickly in this format.
Finch is 40 from 36. Adair to him here. That's way outside the off stump. That nearly missed the cut strip. It was fingers down the sleeve, slower ball. You can see what he's trying to do. Pace off the Finch has worked well so far, but yes, that's a misfire.
Now, the skipper should really go to him and say, let's get back to some normal cricket. Don't try and be too funky. About a 4, a wide, a 2, a 4, a 1, a wide, a wide, a wide. Still 2 balls left.
So 3 wides on the trot. 15 from the over. Adair in. Finch gets it over deep backwards square, 4 more. Couple of bounces into the advertising boards. Finch 44. He's hit 3 4s and a 6. Adair still got 1 ball to go in a punishing over. 3 for 127 now. Adair, who started so well, just 3 runs off his first over inside the power play. Had a brilliant couple of years, but his side needs him here. Needs to get out of this one. And again, he'll change direction. Round the wicket to Finch. Field remains the same. Bolger Street end. Bowls now. And again, it's outside the off stump, and it's just not going to work. That's missed by a foot into the gloves of Tucker. 5 wides in the over so far. He's still yet to get out of this.
Well, I love the Ireland cricket team, but that's rubbish.
He's overthinking it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just get back to the basics, young man.
And he's such a better player than
He's such a better player than that. Yeah. It's getting too funky.
20 from the over so far. Finch on 44 to face the last ball. Full toss and make it 26. That's gone a long way back. And Aaron Finch gets himself a half-century. That's his second 6. 38 balls to reach the milestone. 15 overs gone. 3 for 134. Our coverage for Host Plus, that's a plus.
Sustained performance in cricket is more than just one great innings. It's about performing consistently day after day, match after match. Host Plus delivers strong performance over the long term with top returns over 20 years. A top performing super fund over the long term, that's a plus.
Super Ratings SR50 Balance Index, August 2022. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Search Compare Host Plus today.
You can see Aaron Finch watch that back between overs on the Beaumont Tiles screen. Choose Beaumont Tiles for hybrid flooring. Just enjoying his handiwork there, whacking one. 15 rows back to move to 50. So 2 6s and 3 4s. And just when Australia needed the big over, they got it. 26 coming from Mark Adair. 6 of those in extras. Ireland's turn to respond. Dockrell here, Stanley Street end. Stoinis up over cover. Charts at deep point. Charging in dive. Doesn't quite drag it in. Not sure if Delaney quite made the contest there. Either way, Stoinis gets back for a second. He's 27. He might have just got there on the half volley, Buff.
Yeah, I think he did. They've put him under pressure. 42 off the last 2 overs. And now the game is on. It's well and truly in Australia's favour now.
So we're into the death overs. 15.1 overs gone. Stoinis is 29 off 15. Makes room for himself and dinks it over mid-on. There's a fielder at long on. Stoinis considers a second. Finch ultimately calls the whole thing off. Stoinis up to 30, 3 for 137. Run rate just on 9 and over now.
That last over was a long over, wasn't it? I mean, I feel sorry for him. It wasn't. I know it was probably a bit harsh on rubbish, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, he'll know. I mean, he's been a professional cricketer for nearly a decade now, between Warwickshire and Ireland. He'll know that he'll be gutted by that.
Yeah, it's never nice, that one.
So Dockrell bowling his third over, or he's about to. Something's going on behind the bowler's arm for about the 5th time already in this innings. Fielders out at long off and deep point on the offside. Long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square on the leg side to Finch on 50. Faces up and tucks one. On the edge of the circle, Josh Little works his way around from short fine. Finch does the right thing there, gets off strike. 51 from 39. I say does the right thing at this stage, Book. It's all about giving Marcus Stoinis as much strike as possible. 3 for 138.
Well, he's got to go. They're both going to go to the short end, so it doesn't matter who's on strike. But the big end, the best one I can come up with is Marcus Stoinis will just clear the ropes whichever end he's batting.
Dockrell delivers here, round the wicket, and Stoinis slaps it out to deep cover point, gets one again. So 3 for 139. Couple of balls left in Dockrell's third over.
He's done well, Dockrell, hasn't he?
Yeah, I sort of said before that he lost his spot for a couple of years. He wasn't getting picked at all. Dockrell bowls reversing here is Finch and missing what turns out to be outside the off stump, so it's not signalled a wide.
So why isn't the LBW rule in place?
Yeah, that is a quirk, isn't it? Dockrell again. Finch makes room, goes long and straight, and it'll go all the way as well. Into the side screen. Finch's third 6. Dances on to 57. Australia 3 for 145. This partnership now up to 60 in just 30 balls, just when they needed it.
Get the power of safer tyres before you go on holidays. A road safety message from Tyre Power.
There's one wheel that affects the performance of all the other wheels on your car, the steering wheel. And if your steering is out of alignment, it affects handling and vehicle stability. Poor steering alignment also causes rapid and uneven tyre wear. If you feel your vehicle pulling in one direction on a straight road, head to your nearest Tyre Power store and get your alignment checked and adjusted as soon as possible.
Get the power!
Big bad Barry McCarthy back into the attack. He's bowled 3 overs so far and has quite useful figures of 2 for 13, if I'm reading the scoreboard correctly.
2 for 19.
2 for 19. Your eyesight's better than mine.
Just.
He picked up a wicket with his first ball and his 7th earlier on. That was Warner inside the power play and Mitchell Marsh just after it. Away from us, Vulture Street end. Over number 17. Bowls here to Stoinis, who leans back and steers to deep third. Nearly gets the angle right. Well enough to get 2, though. 3 for 147. You can see what Stoinis was trying to do. Go nice and find the rope. Wasn't quite to be. 3 for 147. Gets another go. Short boundary side. So 2 fielders out for that. A long on and a cow corner.
Big mistakes teams make sometimes. They make it too predictable for you.
McCarthy up to Stoinis. Delivers here. Stoinis slaps down to long off. Good bowling. Pace off. 3 for 148. Stoinis 34 from 19. Stoinis, who experienced a little bit of a lean run himself before the tournament. Did make 35 and 22 against England, but didn't make the trip to India. Had that side strain, didn't he? Missed the series against the West Indies as well. But it's all about timing in major tournaments. And he's got it right now. Finch back on strike on 57. McCarthy to him here, the captain. Over the top of cover just. There should be 2 more. It won't be a boundary. It'll be cut off a couple of yards inside the rope. Finch to 59 from 42.
Tell you what's happened here.
Up.
I think Finch has done something to himself.
Ooh. Now.
He's hobbling.
Let's get a look on the Beaumont Tiles replay screen. Choose Beaumont's hybrid flooring. Looks like he'll be fine to continue, but yeah, a bit of a grimace there, wasn't there?
It'll be interesting. We'll see What happens now with the run between wickets?
McCarthy to Finch on 59. Bowles and Finch down the ground. Hits it straight. Hits it good. 4 more. Perfect from Finch.
He's done something.
In the block hole, and he managed to place it straight at Mark Adair at long on. He's 63 from 43. And, yeah, I think more the story here is that there's something not quite right with Aaron Finch. Left leg.
Might be cramp. He hasn't batted that long for a while. The champ. Could be cramp. He doesn't look like he's moving too well, so something's happening. He's going to sit deep in his crease. All he's worried about is just trying to clear this short boundary now anyway.
11 off the over, 2 balls to come in it. 3 for 154. McCarthy to Finch. Full toss down to long on. There should be a chance for Mark Adair, and he takes it. Straightforward, fingers up. No concerns there. Australia lose their 4th wicket with the score on 154. The captain dismissed for 63 from 44. He hit 5 4s and 3 6s. His strike rate up towards 150. That'll do him the world of good at this stage of the tournament. But Darren Lehmann, there is a secondary talking point. Is he right here as he's walking off? What are you saying?
Well, I'm seeing him limping off, so something's happened, whether it's cramp or a calf muscle, but he'll be pleased with that knock. He actually got going towards the end of his innings, and big crowd applause there because he's been under some pressure, hasn't he, in the last few games, and to get 63, played well. Not his most fluent knock, but he got 63 and helped Australia. And I think he's a bit worried about what's going on. I think it might be just a bit of cramp, hopefully. We'll know if he comes out the field. If it's something more serious, he won't field.
Yeah, there's that sense that Australia's been on his back a little bit. Aaron Finch, I mean, of course, there are many people who are in his corner as well, but you know, that drum beat. There's always someone in the cricket team, isn't there, Buff, that's under the pump, and it felt like it's Finch, even though he's hit in excess of 500 runs now in T20 international cricket this year. I mean, his relative output compared to his teammates has been pretty good. It's just that dreadful run in one-day cricket that precipitated his retirement. Made it tough coming into the World Cup, but a half-century today. Last ball here, and pulling is Tim David. First up down to long on. He'll get a single and retain the strike with 3 overs to go. Australia 4 for 154. And our coverage, of course, for Host Plus, that's a plus.
Winning in cricket is hard. You need to perform at your best, day in, day out. It's the same with your super. If you're with Host Plus, you're with a top-performing super fund over the long term. Having a top performer on your side, that's a plus. Host Plus.
Super Ratings SR50 Balance Index, August 2022. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Search Compare Host Plus today.
Well, we've got an answer on the SEN_cricket Twitter account on our question about what's going on to our right with the Park Rangers. Well, we're told here by Dale Moon, they are the super troopers we have here normally at the Gabba. They dress like that for a test match, but they've changed it up for the T20s. Dockrell starts over number 18. Tim David helps a single to mid-wicket. Dockrell does the fielding off his own bowling, charging out towards the edge of the circle at mid-wicket. 4 for 156. David's on 2.
So change up for him. Yeah, it's a great change-up, I reckon. It's great for the game, it's entertainment, and T20, that's what it's all about. Crowd started to build up nicely, hasn't it, really? I thought a little bit light on, but it's getting pretty full at night here. It's a great atmosphere. Queenslanders love to come and support the Australian cricket team.
You're pretty much a Queenslander these days yourself, Buff. How long have you been living up in the state? As Dockrell bowls and making room is Stoinis. Might have been an edge there through to Tucker. There was certainly a noise, and if there was, that's a drop catch from Lorcan Tucker. Dockrell thinks it is. We'll get a replay here for Beaumont Tiles. He's hit that. Yeah.
Would have been a great catch, to be fair to him. I mean, that's a tough one.
So Stoinis, 34 from 20, facing up to Dockrell here. Pulls him out towards mid-wicket on the bounce to the sweeper. That side of the ground gets 1. 35 from 21, 4 for 157.
Well, this is the perfect scenario. You've got David in for the last... This is what he's been picked for. Last 4 overs, or 3 and a bit overs, to actually do his thing, hit boundaries, and hit plenty of them. So you would think he'd be the one to really just go from ball 1. You've got Wade still in. Still enough batting.
There's some incredible numbers with David. He's hit 36 sixes out of 400-something balls in T20 international cricket. Goes here, that won't be a 6. He finds deep backward square from the middle of the bat. He's 3 from 3 balls, playing himself in 4 for 158. So yeah, the stat is 36 sixes from 454 balls in this format, and hit 16 of 86 when playing for the Mumbai Indians earlier this year. He certainly earned his healthy pay packet there. Stoinis' turn. Hits straight back to Dockrell on the bounce. He's miscuing there, trying to hit it straight back over the bowler's head. They've slowed Stoinis down here, Ireland, over the last 10 deliveries or so. Just one left in the 18th. 4 for 158. Dockrell here to Stoinis, swing and a miss. Well bowled, George Dockrell. None for 24 from his 4. Australia had 2 overs to go. With Stoinis on 35, David on 3. They're 4 for 158.
Time to renovate and want Aussie made? Check out Beaumont's Aussie made specials. Not $40 a square metre, priced from just $17.95. All other Aussie floor tiles 20% off, plus hybrid flooring up to 20% off too. Choose Beaumont's and save.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
So 2 overs to go for Ireland. Josh Little will bowl over number 19, which would suggest that the spinner Gareth Delaney might get 20. That'll be fun.
It will be.
Well, they might go back to Mike Adair, I suppose.
They might do. Yeah. Bigger boundary.
So Little away from us. Delivers here to David on 3. Leaves alone outside the off stump. Good decision. It's outside the tram tracks. They get a wide first up. 3 for 159.
Don't get too predictable. That's what they've fallen into that trap the last few overs from the centre. They've hardly created a dot ball, but from Dockrell's last over, he created 3 dot balls. But in those middle overs when Finch and Stoinis were going, they just got too predictable.
David facing up on 3. Back of the hand from Josh Little, and it gets through to the keeper. Just rolled his fingers down nicely. So that's where Little's aiming for. That's how he got Glenn Maxwell out. Just getting it out there and prompting a miscue, an outside edge in Maxwell's case. He's got protection at deep backward point, deep cover, and long off. So 11 balls left for Australia. 4 for 159. This is where Tim David needs to justify why he's here. He needs to hit 6s. Short boundary. This is the over for it. Change in field. Fine leg goes back. Deep backward point comes inside the circle. Little, left arm over. Bowls to David. In the swinging arc. Over towards deep point. Opportunity there. And it's been put down. Although they'll keep it to 1. So still a good piece of fielding. He was on the charge there coming in off the rope. The sweeper there.
He needed to be in. I know it's a big boundary. You can't hit. I mean, Tim David can hit it a long way. But if he's just fielding normally, he probably takes an easy catch there.
Yeah, so it's Harry Tector, the 19-year-old. He was a bit deep on the march and, yeah, didn't quite carry.
Good effort.
They got there on the half volley, which means they only get 1. David's 4 from 5. Back to Stoinis. 4 for 160. 10 balls left. Little delivers and beats Stoinis outside the off stump. And that's because Stoinis was making room. He was backing away on the basis that they brought deep backward point inside the circle. And that's where he's trying to steer a boundary. Not to be. High risk, high reward for Little bowling in that channel, but it's working so far.
It is. He's been excellent, hasn't he? 1 for 19 so far.
Interesting that he's going to keep bowling out there despite losing his fielder. Gutsy stuff from the attack leader. Little again. This time Stoinis puts it straight down the throat of the man at backward point. Really well bowled, Josh Little. Gets Stoinis for 35. Australia are 5 for 160, but as we said, he was backing himself. Got to like that from the young man.
He's done well. They've fought back well in the last couple of overs, Ireland, because they were looking at getting 200, I thought, there for a while. And now we're talking 2 balls to go, 160. Can they keep them under 1? Anything under 175 gives you a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, once you're getting over 180, it's tough work. But as we've seen, they just seem to get key wickets at the right time. Left arm of Josh Little has done really well.
What they're not going to get is a giant score. And yet our initial conversation tonight was framed around that because, of course, the net run rate permutations, the fact that they're behind, well, a long way behind New Zealand, but England are ahead on that measure at the moment. And, of course, they might go out and bowl out Ireland for 70 and change all of that. But right now, they're They're not getting that 200-plus score that could have given them a bit of an injection of net run rate on that measure. As Matthew Wade comes in at number 7. The unexpected finisher. The last couple of years. His strike rate.
He's done well, hasn't he?
Yeah, his strike rate since the start of the 2021 World Cup is 152. And that includes that stunning match-winning performance against Pakistan in the semi-final when he made 41 not out from 17 balls, and a couple of fine efforts in India back in September, including 45 not out from 21 balls when chasing 209 to win that first T20. So he's been a man in form since being given this new opportunity, this new responsibility down at 7. Hard role to play. 10 balls to go. Little here to Wade, who takes the full toss from his front pad down to long on. Single first ball. 5 for 1, 6-1. 7 balls left in the innings.
Great over. This is one of the short ends they would have been hoping. In the last 12 balls, there's only been 5 runs and 2 wickets. 1 wicket, sorry. So it's a great little finish for Ireland here if they can just stop a boundary off the last ball.
But you take out that marker there over worth 26, and Ireland have had the better of the back half, haven't they?
All those 2 overs went for 42. You take that out, they've done really well, haven't they?
Little's last ball. Bowling here, and Tim David tries to get some elevation, but shanks it down to long on. He'll keep the strike, though. He's 5 from 6 balls. End of 19 overs, Australia 5 for 162. Our coverage for Host Plus. They'll have to come back for 2. David to the danger end. They throw it to the keeper's end, waves through comfortably, and they will finish on 5 for 179. Wade, 7 from 3 at the end. David, 15 from 10. So they'll set Ireland an even 9 and over for an unlikely win. But as you said at halfway, if Australia had 200 within striking distance, and they did take 59 off Adair, but on the whole, Ireland did a pretty good job.
No, they did, mate. They were very impressive. You take out Adair, and really they actually controlled the innings pretty well. They won't be too unhappy with that. They've got some good ball strikers, and if they target this short side, it looks like it's a good wicket. And if they get through the new ball and it doesn't swing too much and get off to a bit of a flyer, they can chase it down. Although I think Australia's powerhouse of Hazelwood, Stark, Cummins, and then you've got Zampa, and then you've got Mitch Marsh. You've got some good bowling options there for the captain in Finch, who's, by the way, he's coming out to warm up, so he's fine. Must have just been a little bit of cramp, hopefully. It might be a little bit of dew. That plays into Ireland's hands, but I think it'll be a decent run chase required. They'll need Sterling to get 80 or 90 to get them across the line tonight.
So let's just go through the Australian card. David Warner was the first man to go. Caught on the short fine circle, on the 45 rather, from Barry McCarthy's first ball. Caught by Adair for 3. It was 1 for 8. Mitchell Marsh was out to Barry McCarthy's 7th delivery. Caught behind the wicket for 28 from 22 with a couple of 6s, 2 for 60 in the 9th over. Glenn Maxwell caught behind as well. 3 for 84 when he was walking off the 13 from 9. That was from the bowling of Josh Little. The 4th wicket was Aaron Finch, the captain, who made 63 from 44 deliveries, a welcome return to form, a strike rate of 143. With 3 6s and 5 4s, he was caught at long on by Adair from the bowling of McCarthy, his 3rd wicket. At that stage, it was 4 for 154 in the 17th over. And Marcus Stoinis fell in the 19th over for 35 from 25 balls. Caught Dockrell, bowled Little. He hit a 6 and 3 4s. It was 5 for 160 at that stage. The final pair put on an unbeaten 19. Tim David, 15 from 10 with 2 4s, and Matthew Wade, 7 from 3 with a boundary in the final over. For Ireland, Josh Little, 2 for 21. Mark Adair, expensive, the most expensive figures for Ireland in T20 World Cup cricket, none for 59. Barry McCarthy, 3 for 29 from his 4, did a great job. Gareth Delaney, the leg spinner, none for 29 from 3. Theon Hand, just 1 over of medium pace, none for 15. And George Dockrell, the 6th bowler used bowling his left arm spin, did a top job, going for just 24 runs from his 4, which means that Australia have been kept to 5 for 179, and we'll take a break at the Gabba. When we return, it'll be the chase for Ireland with a target of 180. This is the innings break for Maccas. Enjoy your favourites at Maccas.
The ICC Men's T20 World Cup. For Henley Completed Homes, now selling in Clyde North and Tarneet. Henley.com.au. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup on SEN Cricket.
Right arm medium pace over the wicket, away from us. The warning here. Edge of the circle, at fine leg gone. Just helped off his hip. Australia lose an early wicket. David Warner gone for 3. Adair delivers and Finch swings over mid-wicket. That goes into the crowd. Our first big one of the night. Bowling to Marsh on 11. He takes him on and goes huge over mid-wicket. Is that a second decker? It sure is.
They need to get him out.
It's 28 and 21. McCarthy here to Marsh, who edges, caught behind. McCarthy does it again. And Marsh is gutted. 20 from the over so far. Finch on 44 to face the last ball. Full toss and make it 26. That's gone a long way back. And Aaron Finch gets himself a half-century. A little again. This time Stoinis puts it straight down the throat of the man at backward point. Really well bowled, Josh Little. Gets Stoinis for 35.
That's a Plus performance. Host Plus, an industry fund for all Australians.
Australia was sent in and made 5 for 179 batting first here at the Gabba against Ireland. Aaron Finch top scoring with 63 from 44 deliveries. The chase will start in a couple of minutes for Ireland. That's a Plus performance for Australia, for Host Plus and Industry Super Fund for all Australians. Aaron Finch is back in form just when they need him to be.
Yeah, they do. I thought he started well, struggled in the middle, came back at the end. So he'll be happy with that. He's out there fielding more importantly, so he's not too injured, which is pleasing. And he's been under some pressure, as he is, captain of Australia.
Yeah.
To get a half-century and do his job in the last 2 games, he's made some runs. So hopefully that kick-starts his tournament, into the back end and starts to make runs against the bigger nations.
And he'll be in contention, I'm sure, for the BizCover Player of the Day. Thanks to BizCover Business Insurance in minutes. So Aaron Finch laying a marker there early on. Have a couple of Irish players, experienced Irish players making their way to the middle. The captain, Andy Balbirnie, who was excellent against England. And Paul Stirling, who's been the mainstay of this Ireland side for over a decade now. They're going to need one of these two to explode in the second half here, chasing 189 and over even required. This has been the innings. This has been the innings break for the McSpicy range at Macca's. Can you handle the heat? And for Australia, this will be interesting. Who's going to take the new ball? Because Mitchell Starc didn't in Perth.
I think Mitchell Starc should. He's obviously not, because Josh Hazelwood's lining up for the first over of the Ireland innings. One of the things here, the captain and then Stirling, they've got to give the younger guys behind them a bit of confidence. They get away and play Hazelwood well and Starc well in the first few overs, and then all of a sudden that confidence grows. And I tell you what Paul Stirling will do. The ground's not big enough if he gets going anyway, and he hits balls in areas that you wouldn't think of. Very strong through the offside. He does give an opportunity to slip to Finch, who's going to be parked there. Steve Smith's on the ground, so someone's obviously off the ground.
Now that's our first job. Who's off the field at the moment? Get the binoculars on during this first over. This has been the innings break for Macca's. Enjoy your favourites at Macca's. Josh Hazelwood, first over, Stanley Street, about to start. He has been outstanding since returning to this Australian T20 side last year. Averages 17 this year. He's the number 2 ranked bowler in the world, according to the ICC. To think he spent 3 years out of the T20 side. But well and truly, the attack leader now for Australia.
I don't see Tim David out there, so something might have happened in the back end.
Okay. So outside the circle, fine leg, and deep third. Hazelwood to start, bowls here, first ball. Stirling dances, miscues into his pad. They race through for a quick single, none for one from the first ball.
That's what happens. He will not worry about, getting his eye in, getting off the mark. He's just run down on the Bowman Tiles replay.
You've got to love it.
Hit him for 6.
He makes the most of these tyre power plays, get Kumu.
Yeah, he does.
Power play deals. He's been that kind of player, and he made his debut as a 17-year-old. It feels like he's been around forever.
And to be fair, for them to win the game, they have to have a great power play, because then it gives the younger guys some confidence down the list.
Yeah.
So if they can get away, even if they, don't smash it, but don't lose many wickets.
Balbirnie's first ball facing Hazelwood, delivers here, and he defends conventionally out towards cover, no run. Balbirnie made 62 against England. He was the trunk of that innings, which proved to be enough. They beat the English by 5 runs at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. He's had a brilliant few years at 50 over level, and that started to translate into T20 cricket as well in this competition. 37 against the West Indies, which got them through to the second round. An important contribution there too. Made a century against England when they beat them at Southampton a couple of years ago in 50-over cricket, so he knows what it takes to make it count against high-profile opposition, which, of course, Australia is. The defending champions and the hosts. Hazlewood bowls here close to the stumps, and Balbirnie defends off the front foot this time, out to cover, no single.
A little bit of shape there for Josh Hazlewood, who's been excellent in this format, hasn't he? I mean, he didn't play a lot of T20s early on because he just played everything. He needed a break, that's all. And then you get to the World Cups and he's playing. And that happens with a lot. You know, you had Hazlewood, Stark, Cummins. They play a lot of cricket. You need to give them a break somewhere. So, you know, for this example, the rest of the year, they've got a lot of test cricket to come up. So they might not play maybe the one days against England, for example. That they might get a break there before the test series. But, you know, World Cups, they're always playing.
Finch, the catching man at second slip. Hazlewood bowls here. Balbirnie makes room. Is there an edge? They certainly appeal behind the wicket. The finger of umpire Menon stays down. Are they going to explore a review here? I don't think they are, but Finch was the man appealing. Not to be. So 3 dots for Balbirnie to start. Hazlewood bowling in the low 130s.
Well, they're banking on him not hitting the stumps, aren't they? They like to go through the offside, both these players.
Yeah, what you said there about Hazlewood's availability, that extended to the World Cup in 2019. You know, he didn't play the 50-over World Cup because they were keeping an eye on the Ashes that followed. Hazlewood here, bowls to Balbirnie, off the mark with a 6-over deep backward square. He's gotten all of that. Inside the line, a pickup shot, 15 rows back. Nice start from the skipper. None for 7 Ireland. 1 ball to come in the first over.
Well, Josh Hazlewood followed him. He probably just needed to stay at top of off stump, but he followed him. Went into his hip and he just picked it up and hit it. Beautiful shot. 20 rows back. Picked it up beautifully. Great start for Ireland there.
A lot to like about the Irish captain. An experienced man now, 31 years of age. Played a lot of cricket. Last ball of Hazlewood's over. Over the wicket, Balbirnie doesn't quite beat Stephen Smith, the subfielder, at backward point. So 7 runs coming from the first over of this Tyre power play. Get Kumo power play deals. We'll back in a moment with Balbirnie on 6 and Sterling on 1.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Time to renovate and want Aussie made? Check out Beaumont's Aussie made specials. Not $40 a square metre, priced from just $17.95. All other Aussie floor tiles 20% off, plus hybrid flooring up to 20% off too. Choose Beaumont's and save.
Adam Collins and Darren Lehmann on SEN T20 World Cup cricket for Host Plus. That's a plus. And Mitchell Starc doesn't get over number 2 either. It's going to be Pat Cummins. So there was a run of 34 matches in a row where Mitchell Starc took the first over for Australia, which ended with the Sri Lanka game in Perth. So a change in strategy mid-World Cup. That's unusual.
That is, mate. I'm actually opening the bowling with Mitchell Starc as he swings it. That's his strength. And yes, he can go around the park, but he can get you early wickets. Now, hopefully I'm proven wrong because Paddy Cummins is a pretty good bowler.
Fine leg and third man back. Cummins bowls and Sterling hit on the pad. Shout for leg before umpire Gaffney gives it not out. Looked high. And he doesn't even go up to Aaron Finch to litigate the case for a review. And yeah, the other point here is you hear a lot about matchups, right? About analytics. And, of course, Brooke, you're involved in that caper as well, being a T20 coach around the world. Paul Sterling averages 18 against left-armers over the last 3 years, striking at 121. I mean, his weakness comparatively has been left-arm seam. To that end, I can't quite place why they haven't had a crack at that.
Yeah, and if he's not opening the bowling and it's not swinging.
Cummins away from us, Bolter Street end. Sterling across the line, no one at deep square. Gets his first boundary. Sterling to 5, Balbirnie on 6, none for 11 after 8 deliveries.
Yeah, just picked it up nicely. He's a good clean strike of the ball. He doesn't try to hit it too hard. He clears the 30-yard circle, no problems at all. So the Mitchell Starc debate, Cummins, I mean, Cummins is world class, obviously. But Mitchell Starc, if he's not swinging the ball early or not playing, you know, in the first couple of overs, you're just going to use him to push across the right-hander? I'm not sure whether you use him in the best way there.
He did a good job of it in Perth as Cummins bowls again. And Sterling goes huge. Over mid-wicket, over towards the scoreboard, way back in the crowd. So a 4 and a 6 to start for Sterling in this second over. None for 17.
Wow, that's what he can do. You probably see fine leg up, square leg goes back. Change of plan for Cummins. Slip drops to a sort of deep, short third man, if you like.
Bit of a rethink required for Sterling. So as you say, yeah, fine leg up now. The target's 180. They've got 17 of those already. Cummins bowls and Sterling defends. Just out towards backward point. Still gets a single, though. He's 12 from 5 balls. None for 18. 2 left in the second. There was, for the first time I can remember, certainly in Pat Cummins' career, there was talk about his spot in the team after the Sri Lanka game. He's been the most expensive of the Australian bowlers cumulatively across the first 2 games. And Mark Warp said that he would drop him.
Well, I disagree with dropping him.
Sure, no, but I'm just saying that you rarely hear that conversation.
I reckon he's a fantastic bowler when the field's out.
Yep.
He can hit a hard length and bowl what he needs to bowl. That's why you open the bowling with Stark.
Cummins has 2 catches behind the wicket. Bowls hit a Balbirnie, who finds point on the edge of the circle, no run. I guess it's with the recalibration of what Stark's doing. Stark's kind of playing the Cummins role from the last World Cup. When they won in 2021, Cummins was the middle over enforcer, with Hazelwood and Stark taking the new ball. So they've done a bit of a switcheroo there.
They certainly have there, and I think Stark's the one to use new ball. Cummins don't need to invent the wheel, if you like.
Yeah.
You've got a new ball bowler, and if he's not bowling well enough, well, you don't pick him, do you? But Stark is world class. His stats say he gets wickets.
Cummins to the crease, bowls to Balbirnie, bowls him round his legs, went across his stumps, tried to get cute, tried to go over the top of short fine, doesn't work out. Balbirnie's castled for 6. And Ireland lose their first wicket from the final ball of the second over. 1 for 18.
Time to renovate and want Aussie made? Check out Beaumont's Aussie made specials. Not $40 a square metre, priced from just $17.95. All other Aussie floor tiles 20% off, plus hybrid flooring up to 20% off too. Choose Beaumont's and save.
Hello, it's Emma Martino from State Transport. If you have a truck, crave a work-life balance and the option to work your way, become an owner-driver for State Transport. Apply today. statetransport.com.au/drivers.
We're in a tyre power play, get Kumo power play deals, and Ireland have lost their first wicket. Cummins was right on the top of the off stump, and Balbirnie was all the way across his stumps, trying to flick it over fine leg. Bowled instead. Pat Cummins gets in the book early in his defensive 179, Darren Lehmann.
Well, he didn't need to do that, skipper. They've just scored for 11 in a 4 and a 6. As we said, you just need to start where you just get the Aussies panicking a little bit. Yeah, they've got a chance to Glenn Maxwell in the game, not Mitchell Stark.
Yeah, Maxwell hasn't bowled much in the tournament. Wasn't used at all against New Zealand. I think that's mostly due to the fact that Devon Conway's a superb player of off-spin. They didn't want to take that risk on an explosive innings. They, in hindsight, said they should have used him. Bowled 1 over against Sri Lanka, 1 for 5, and that was that.
The matchup will be quite good with Sterling. He will take it on, so this is a big over coming up.
Round the wicket to Sterling. First ball, no run, pushed out to mid-off. Yeah, this was picked up by Crickfish before the game that Maxwell's bowled 26 balls to Sterling in T20 cricket for only 24 runs. So he likes bowling at the Irishman. Never really got hold of him. 2 out on the leg side. Maxwell back of the length, catches the call to cover, and it's taken on the edge of the circle. Maxwell strikes second ball. The all-important Paul Sterling falls for 11. 2 wickets falling with the score on 18. Cummins involved in both of them, taking the catch, moving to his left, and Maxwell is fired up.
Well, that hurts him. Gave himself some room. I actually gave himself too much room. Mid-off read that really well. Ran across. And again, Cummins in the game, isn't he? He's pumped Glenn Maxwell, and that's really hurts the Ireland chances. Paul Sterling needed to actually get off to a bit of a flyer in that over. Tried to, didn't. It's now 2 for 18.
So 2 new men at the crease who haven't faced the ball. We've got Lorcan Tucker, the young wicketkeeper. I say young, 26 years of age, but still finding his way in the international game. Joined by Harry Tector, the 22-year-old, who's been something of a prodigy through the Irish system, but he's the one top-order player for Ireland who hasn't fired in this tournament. They'll need him tonight if they're any chance of hauling in the 180 they've been set by Australia, especially after losing the 2 senior men in the space of 14 deliveries to start their reply. Balbirnie bowled for 6 and Sterling caught for 11. Maxwell bowls here, protector, first ball, leg stump, doesn't get hold of it, spills out into the onside. Wade does the fielding, no run.
Very good analytics from Dean Hills and Macca, the coach, and Aaron Finch, the captain, there to have the off spin.
Maxwell bowls using his feet. Tector gets it round the corner, off the mark to deep backward square. They'll come back for a couple.
I like the look of that. I like the look of that.
2 for 20. Still a couple of balls to come in the third.
Come down, boys.
Yeah, the fact that Sterling's never got Maxwell away. I mean, it's still probably not an easy thing to do, though, is it, when you've got Stark and Cummins and Hazelwood inside the power plate? Work, though. Maxwell bowls and Tector goes down the ground. You can hear Maxwell through the stump mic saying no. Tector gets a boundary, hammering it out of the slot. He's 6. It's 2 for 24.
Much needed boundary there. They don't want to just stagnate because they lost 2 quick wickets. They've got to keep taking the game on to keep them up with the rate. And you just need one partnership. Obviously saw with the Australian innings. Stoinis and Finch really got the innings going there. You just need one of them.
Last ball from Maxwell here. Staying around the wicket detector. Oh, catches the call. It's gone as well. He's got third ball. And he cannot believe it. Hands on his knees. Ireland lose 2 wickets in the over. It's Steve Smith, the sub-fielder, who makes no mistake. 2 wickets in the Maxwell set. Ireland now in real trouble at 3 make that for 24 after 3 overs.
30 days, 30 deals starts tomorrow at Macca's. Claim a new deal every day of November, like a $2 Big Mac. Only available on the My Macca's app. Value means more at Macca's. See in-app for today's deals.
Time to renovate and want Aussie made? Check out Beaumont's Aussie made specials. Not $40 a square metre, priced from just $17.95. All other Aussie floor tiles 20% off, plus hybrid flooring up to 20% off too. Choose Beaumont's and save.
Australia are winning the Tyre Power power play. Get Kumo power play deals. They've got 3 wickets, 1 in the second over and 2 in the third. Glenn Maxwell 2 for 6, and that was a limp dismissal from Harry Tector. There's a lot about the young kid, but it's not worked out tonight. Placing it to Stephen Smith at square leg. And as you pointed out, Wolf, that was a great call from Aaron Finch to use Maxwell in over number 3. And now they can turn the screws. The extra pace of Mitchell Stark from our Bolter Street end. Still with 2 men yet to face the ball. Lorcan Tucker, who walked in at 3. And he's joined by Curtis Campher, the all-rounder, who did so well to get Ireland out of the group over there at Bellerive Oval. But yes, a target of 180. They are a long way behind the game now.
There's only one bonus. They're up with the run rate, aren't they? They can't afford to lose any wickets. They still can't. They've got to take the game on.
Stark away from us. Bowls to Tucker. His first ball. Strikes him on the pad. Shout for leg before. Spills out into the onside. They'll get a leg by. It's turned down. Don't think Stark's going to go up to Finch and make the case for a referral. Looked to be going down the leg side with that natural swing that Stark gets, and so it was.
Good swung, didn't it?
Yes, indeed it was. Our replay screens for Beaumont tiles. Choose Beaumont's for hybrid flooring.
Good sign for the Australian team there with Mitchell Stark. That swung and swung late. And we talked about run rate coming into it. Well, I'm actually attacking, trying to get wickets now.
Well, that's it. Australia need to take all 10. And they'll know that too. Aaron Finch said at the toss, if they get a little look at trying to press home the advantage, that's when I'll start thinking about run rate, net run rate. And this feels like the right time for that, as Curtis Campher sees something in the eye of the bowler and sends him back. Hope it's not us. We're right behind Mitchell Stark here.
Yeah, good view, haven't we, from the commentary box here. Something's happening with the screen. I'm sure we can't see the side screen, but something's happening.
So Curtis Campher, who's about to face up, made 72 not out from 32 balls against Scotland when they were absolutely gone at the halfway mark there. Winviz gave them a 10% chance of winning that game from that point. But yes, an unbeaten 119-run stand between Campher and Dockrell got them to the finish line and over early. And that really kick-started their World Cup campaign. They were gone if they lost there. They wouldn't be in the Super 12. So He's a player of some talent. He can give it a ride. Facing his first ball here from Mitchell Starc. Close to the stumps, bowls, and he bowls him! Well, how about that? Leg stump bent back, the perfect full in-swinging delivery. Camphor gone for a golden duck. Ireland in disarray at 4 for 25.
Well, there you have it. In-swinging ball. They've got it right, haven't they? We said open the bowling with Hazelwood and Starc. They've gone Cummins, Hazelwood, Maxwell. Starc bowls the fourth over, gets a wicket with it still swinging. So well done, Australia. Oh, in deep trouble now. 4 for 25. And Australia just put their best bowlers on, try and get more wickets. Ireland got to either keep going and say, look, we just got to win the last game regardless either way, or just say, right, we've got to make sure we get as close as we possibly can.
Makes for a beautiful replay for Beaumont Tiles. Choose Beaumont's for hybrid flooring with middle stump and leg stump splayed as the ball crashed into both of them. The zing bails firing up, flying off, and the Australians know they're a chance to roll through Ireland here now. George Dockrell, he's there as the finisher. He's walking out in over number 4. Indeed, there are still 4 balls to come in this fourth over. And Starc's already getting it right. Full, straight, and swinging, always a handful. Just as he was in the side you coached in 2015.
Yeah, that's a beautiful ball. That'll get a lot of players out of that delivery.
Starc, Vulture Street end, the crowd right behind him. First ball to Dockrell. Wafts outside the off stump. That's the one that doesn't swing through to the gloves of Matthew Wade.
That's exactly right. When it doesn't swing, that's when the nick comes into it. So it's a perfect start for Mitchell Starc. That first ball that swung, she thought, right, it is swinging. And she get bat on ball. Fast. Perfect length there. Went straight through him. And the Beaumont Tiles replay.
Starc, head of steam being built up. Delivers here, full toss, but defended away by George Dockrell, no run. You can hear the Australians crowding around the new batter.
Well, they're up and about, aren't they? Well, yes. Wouldn't they? They know if they get these two, they can really bowl them out for something, and then the run rate's done and dusted.
Well, if they take all 10, and they can do it briskly, it'll start to offset the damage done by New Zealand. Indeed, it will offset it. Beaten by 89 runs in the opening game of the tournament, the Aussies. Starc here, close to the stumps again. That's left alone by Dockrell. Outside the off stump, but not that far outside the off stump. Good movement, great pace, up at 148 kilometres an hour, Mitchell Starc there. I mentioned that World Cup of 2015 and how damaging he was with the new ball. Took 22 wickets at 10, player of the tournament. Everything you asked him to do worked, including, of course, famously, that final to Brendan McCullum.
He was unbelievable. Had a great tournament. That's probably why I'm still thinking back then, that's how good he was. Why don't we just utilise that all the time?
Now 2 slips. Last ball for Starc here. Bowls him as well. Oh, that is superb from Mitchell Starc. It's a double wicket maiden to start for the Southpaw. Ireland's top order has been destroyed. 4 overs gone, 5 for 25.
Hello, it's Albert Sanusa from State Transport. With leading industry rates and ongoing training, State Transport are the best employers for local couriers, heavy rigids and semis. Apply today. stateTransport.com.au/drivers.
Time to renovate and want Aussie made? Check out Beaumont's Aussie made specials. Not $40 a square metre, priced from just $17.95. All other Aussie floor tiles 20% off, plus hybrid flooring up to 20% off too. Choose Beaumont's and save.
Still 2 overs to go in the tyre power play. Get Kumo power play deals, and Australia a swarming Ireland here. The card is a debacle. Balbirnie bowled for 6, Sterling caught for 11. Tector caught for 6, then Starc goes bang, bang, knocking over Camphor and Dockrell in the space of 5 deliveries. Stumps everywhere. In Dockrell's case, the in-swinger went underneath his blade. A very rare double wicket maiden in T20 international cricket. And Starc just issuing a bit of a reminder why he's such a threat when the ball is swinging inside the power play. 5 for 25. And they are beautiful replays for Beaumont tiles. Choose Beaumont's for hybrid flooring. And the ball goes back to Patrick Cummins. What damage they are doing up front. Tucker facing his second ball. Cummins here, inside part of the bat, pushed out towards mid-on, though, is the call.
Well, I'd also like to see a second slip. I'd be going all out now, trying to bowl him out for as few as you possibly could. Almost have a test match field and really try to knock them off and have a big win, and then all of a sudden you do negate it. Run rate doesn't become a problem. You just got to win your last game. You know, bearing in mind what would happen if England beat
New Zealand, tomorrow night.
Second slip comes in. Good move from Aaron Finch. Ticking all the boxes tonight, the skipper, isn't he?
Yeah, Finch and Smith in the cordon. Fielders out at fine leg and deep third. Lorcan Tucker facing Cummins. Does he get it over mid-on? Just he does. It'll be 4 runs. Wasn't far away. Didn't get much of it, but got just enough of it. He's off the mark with that 4. It's 5 for 29 in the 5th over. Our coverage for Host Plus, that's a plus.
Well, he's taking the game on still. So he's a brave young man. And that's what you've got to do. You're no point hanging around. You know now you've got to score runs anyway. Because if you get bowled out for 60, your tournament's done and dusted, isn't it? So you've got to try and get 120, 150 somehow.
He's been in form, Tucker, as well. Batted well against England. Cummins to him here. Goes across his stumps. Doesn't get onto it. Just goes over the top of the woodwork too. Not far away from a 6th wicket. You can see what he's trying to do. As you say, brave batting inside the power play with the field up. Going for the scoop, not quite. Yes, Tucker made 34 against England. Major contributor to that 82-run stand along with Andy Balbernia that gave them a platform to win from. Hit 45 not out against the West Indies in the victory that saw them progress to the Super 12s. Cummins up to Tucker here, delivers and plays him out past the square leg umpire in front of his front pad. They get through for a couple. Tucker 6, 5 for 31.
It's just extra pace, isn't it?
Yeah.
That surprised them. I mean, Australian cricket team has got a great bowling attack, and that's one thing they can count on throughout the tournament. People will say, oh, should we change this, should we change that? The only one is Agar is probably the talking point, but then you've got the big 3 going at it when they go well. They're hard to topple.
20 dot balls out of the first 28. Cummins here down the leg side. Oh, is there an edge? No, there's not. Wide signal. Cummins was appealing, perhaps in order to make Menon think there was some thigh pad or something like that. Not to be. We'll have to re-bowl that. 5 for 32. But yeah, saw that flash up on our Beaumont tile screen. Choose Beaumont's for hybrid flooring. That in the first 27 deliveries it was at the time, 20 of them were scoreless. Couldn't say that too many power plays.
No, you won't. We've been just right on the money. Aaron Finch, everything he touches tonight has turned to gold so far.
You get the sense he's enjoyed tonight so far, Finch. Standing at sleepers, Cummins bowls and doesn't get any of that. Tucker hits him on the thigh pad. Back of a length delivery. At the moment, Finch putting in a great case to be the Biz cover player of the match. No dramas, business insurance. 1 ball left in this Cummins set. 1 for 17 so far.
Now, you've seen more of these players than I probably have, to be perfectly honest. Delaney
has a crack. Yeah, he's another one of these guys who's been getting more opportunities in the last couple of years after their golden generation retired. The guys that took them from 2007. Seeing here on Beaumont tile screen that, yes, they were right to give that not out down the leg side a couple of balls ago. There was no spike. They went through the technology. To win the 5th over, here is Cummins. Bowls to Tucker on 6. He dances and slaps wide of mid-on. Gets a couple. Won't quite make it to the rope. Josh Hazelwood does the fielding. Hauls it in. They do get back for a 3rd, though. So Tucker will retain the strike. He's 9. End of 5 overs. Ireland 5 for 35.
Time to renovate and want Aussie made? Check out Beaumont's Aussie made specials. Not $40 a square metre, priced from just $17.95. All other Aussie floor tiles 20% off, plus hybrid flooring up to 20% off too. Choose Beaumont's and save.
30 days, 30 deals starts tomorrow at Macca's. Claim a new deal every day of November, like a $2 Big Mac. Only available on the My Macca's app. Value means more at Macca's. See in-app for today's deals.
Understandably, after starting with a double wicket maiden, Mitchell Starc will bowl the final over of the Tyre Power play, get Kumo power play deals. And the slow clap starts from the Gabba crowd. Top of his mark, Vulture Street end at Lorcan Tucker. He's hit the stumps twice already, but it's been full straight and swinging. Starc bowls here, Tucker across the line, finds a gap, 4 runs. Again, gutsy batting. There's a mid-wicket and a mid-on inside the circle. He bisected them. He's hit 2 boundaries in his 13. It's 5 for 39. Target's 180. Just lost Darren Lehmann's mic. I'm sure he'll be back in a moment. Just say good day to me, Buff.
How are you?
Here we go. We're back.
There we go. Don't know what's happened there, but that was a great shot.
Lots to like about Tucker. Facing Starc here. Pulls with authority across the line this time. He's hammered that. Back-to-back 4s. 5 for 43, but he gave that absolutely everything.
Great shot on the Beaumont Tiles replay. Didn't move. Square leg, didn't get a chance to see it. Great pull shot there. And he's decided to keep taking the game on, so good on him.
Well, and he can do it. He hit a 38 ball 78 against South Africa in the home summer for Ireland this year when they were visiting, and he would have the confidence. What I'm saying there is the confidence to take down a big senior attack. Now, obviously, they're way out of the game right now, but there's plenty there for him personally as he develops as a very useful international cricketer. The Ireland keeper batter in at 3 today. Wickets falling around him. Now counter-attacking against Starc. Dances and pushes out towards backward point. Crowd catch. Stephen Smith does the fielding. It stays at 5 for 43.
It's good to see him have the confidence to actually do that, because it's not easy to advance to someone that's bowling almost 150. Went bang, bang. He's also thinking that it's a power play, so I'm going to have to score boundaries now. Zampa's not going to be easy bowling the stumps to the big boundary, so he's taken on early.
So fine leg up, deep third and deep square back inside the Tyre Power play for a couple of balls yet. Starc bowls. Again across his stumps, it's a full toss. Now that's gone over the woodwork. I suspect that'll be a free hit. It is. So above waist high, and the reason there was a sense of trepidation in my voice is that wasn't far from collecting Tucker, given he was in the crouch for the scoop. But thankfully missed him. That could have been nasty. A free hit at 5 for 44. 3 balls left.
He went for the stumps, didn't he? He went for the Yorker, in-swinging Yorker.
Field stays the same for the free hit, of course. Starc up here in bowls and way outside the off stump, which is the right place to have it, just inside the tram track. Disciplined bowling from Starc, taking the stumps out of the equation with it being a free hit. That's the one that's just tailed away the other way. So we've seen a couple of big in-swinging Yorkers. That's his change-up delivery, the more wobble seam style ball.
He sort of pushes across, doesn't it, the right-hander. But again, the ball stops swinging all of a sudden, hasn't it? So it's a different type of bowler. You want it swinging earlier.
Starc up to the crease, over the wicket, bowls here, dancing again, swinging and missing. This time is Tucker. Sloppy from Wade, albeit on a ball that was tough to take. It bounced before it reached him. They get a bye. That was Starc's slower ball down at 123 kilometres an hour. So not as effective as he was in his first set.
Clever bowling, though. It's a quick, you can say, I'm going to bowl 150, swing it in, but when the batsman's running, sometimes you go the other way. Mind you, I think he'll go full and straight and try and swing it in this ball.
5 for 45. So they've made more runs in Australia having the power play. We're seeing our screen, the worm up there now. The Beaumont Tiles. But the problem is, Australia lost 1 wicket in their first 6. Ireland have lost 5. Can Starc finish it with another? Vulture Street end bowls here. In the block hole. Steered away out to the rope. Nicely played by Delaney. His first ball's a 4. And they end the power play with a degree of momentum, albeit having lost those 5 wickets. 5 for 49 after the first 6. Our coverage is for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Hello, it's Emma Martino from State Transport. If you have a truck, crave a work-life balance and the option to work your way, become an owner driver for State Transport. Apply today. statetransport.com.au/drivers.
Time to renovate and want Aussie made? Check out Beaumont's Aussie made specials. Not $40 a square metre, priced from just $17.95. All other Aussie floor tiles 20% off, plus hybrid flooring up to 20% off too. Choose Beaumont's and save.
So with the tyre power play complete, get Kumo power play deals. 5 men are allowed outside the circle. And it's the time for spin, but it won't be, at least in the first instance, Zampa. It's going to be Maxwell bowling from the end, the Stanley Street end that we've seen the spinners operate from today. So the long boundary to the leg side. We'll start with a deep backward square, deep mid-wicket and a long on. And, of course, Maxwell picked up 2 wickets in the over he bowled in the power play. Harry Tector, Paul Sterling already in his pocket. Round the wicket here to Tucker on 17. Reverse sweep first ball out of the Maxwell playbook. Gets 1. Out to the sweeper, Mitchell Marsh. They bring up their 50. 5 for 50. 1 ball into the 7th over.
Well, if they're batting at 20, they're going to get him.
Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, it'd be an amazing chase. They'd have to have these guys going for about 8 overs, I think.
Yeah, of all the players they've lost, I mean, of course, they've had their top order uprooted, but it's probably Camphor of that crew who we've seen do it recently. Round the wicket, Maxwell. 1 here on offer for Delaney, who pushes just in front of the man at mid-wicket. 5 for 51. Delaney is 5 from 2 balls.
The advantage here for Australia is he can actually bowl Adam Zampa to the short end if he wants to.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And that's a real advantage because you can take it on, you can get a wicket.
Maxwell bowls here round the wicket. Sweep. Shout for leg before. Maxwell likes it, nobody else does, including Menon. No review. And the fact that all of Ireland's top 7, and we've seen them all now, are right-handed, so the ball will be spinning away from them if bowling from the Vulture Street end. That's an extra element to consider. So, yeah, we could see that. Maxwell bowls wide of the crease. 1 there for Tucker, his 19th run. They consider a second, but that would have been a fool's errand. Oh, Maxwell's hit on the finger, then runs into the stumps. Might have just caught one on the end of the big finger there, judging by his response on the Beaumont tile screen. And stumbles away, frustrated at a bad throw, and kicks over middle stump accidentally. 5 for 52. Always in the game, Glenn Maxwell.
He loves it, doesn't he? And look, Aaron Finch is trying to give Glenn Maxwell some confidence as well, isn't he? Which is great to see.
Maxwell bowls, and playing through point is Gareth Delaney, and well enough for 4. I thought Mitch Marsh would haul that in, running around from deep backward point, but such was the timing that he had no chance. Delaney's hit 2 boundaries in his 9. 5 for 56 with 1 ball to come in the 7th. That target's 180.
That's a beautiful shot, that. Gave himself a little bit of room, but timed it nicely.
Absolutely has. Maxwell to finish.
Oh, nice that.
Delaney pushes out past Aaron Finch at cover. Hobbling over to get the ball, it must be said. So an expensive over, well, relatively expensive for Maxwell. 8 runs coming from it. Ireland 5 for 57 after 7 overs with Delaney on 10 and Tucker on 19.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Get ready for McHappy Day, Saturday 19th of November, and buy your silly socks at Macca's today for just $5. There are 2 designs to collect, and all profits go towards helping seriously ill children and their families through RMHC while socks last.
So no Zampa as yet. It'll be back to Josh Hazelwood. He bowled the first over, none for 7 before the wickets all fell in the power play. A clump of them on 18, 18, 24, 25 and 25. A collapse of 5 for 7 in the middle of the power play. They've recovered from there. They were 5 for 25. They're now 5 for 57. And Hazelwood will have fielders outside the circle at deep point, deep third, fine leg, deep square and long on beneath us here at the Vulture Street end. He's up to the crease, bowling at Delaney, who dances and cross-bats him down to Mitchell Marsh at long on. 5 for 58. Delaney 11 from 5 balls.
Well, they're fearless, aren't they? They keep going. Good on them. Yeah, they know this is the short end, so they've got to take some risks there. With 122 off 77.
Yeah, they mentioned it. They played a lot of cricket this summer. They had India, New Zealand and South Africa all visit. Played Afghanistan in a successful series where they won 3-2. In the build-up to the World Cup as well. Tucker on strike to Hazelwood. Off his hip, gets one down towards fine leg. To be a single. 5 for 59. Tucker up to 20.
One of the things when you're chasing a throw is you've got to break it down. So they need 122 off 76 now. If they just get a runner ball and get it down to 100 off 10 overs, you can target the short end and you get 10s or 12s there. You actually can break it down quite nicely. But these two young guys, I think they're just going to say we're going to keep going. We're not worried which end it is.
It is the beauty of T20 cricket, isn't it? That if you have a good 5 overs, you can be back in almost any game. Hazelwood delivers here. Oh, that's high on the bat. Down towards deep backward square. Won't quite go the journey. No opportunity. Delaney survives, but he had no idea where that was going. False stroke. He's 12. 5 for 60. So they're 120 runs away. And as you say, Paul, if this were just about the run rate required, well, you'd say 180 is within striking distance with 120 needed from 75 balls. The problem is the 5 wickets they've lost and the calibre of players they've lost. It's the young guys here, Tucker and Delaney. The former's on strike to Hazelwood. He's on 20, using his feet. He swings and misses. He went really early there. Hazelwood wasn't even in the load-up. Tucker was dancing. Gave Hazelwood the chance to adjust and bowl a slower ball and beat the blade.
Well, I see the ground staff are getting ready as well down there, so maybe they know something we don't know. And Ireland is saying we've got to get ahead of the rate before the rain comes. So if there's any rain on the radar, they'd know that.
Well, the DLS score at the moment would be 86, so they're still 26 behind that. Again, that's a function of the wickets they've lost.
That's right, but they're saying, well, we've got to get 26 very quickly.
Let's keep going.
Keep going.
Hazelwood bowls, dancing again, down the leg side. Wide signals. So 5 for 61. Still 2 left in the 8th over. So Matthew Wade half appealed there. It's at least going through the process of considering whether they should send it upstairs. They don't in the end. The clock runs down to 0. Aaron Finch is now off the ground. We saw him hobble off to... It looks like Glenn Maxwell's the captain at the moment in Finch's absence. The camera's gone straight on him for the review.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Finch off, Maxwell captain.
I would have thought it was Matthew Wade captaining in his absence. We'll come back to that, I reckon. Full and straight from Hazelwood down to long on. Mitchell Marsh does the fielding. 5 for 62. Tucker 21. My instinct would have been that Matthew Wade, because he did captain in Finch's absence a couple of times last year.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, someone will tell us who's captain soon, won't they? Either one. A lot of those blokes out there have played enough cricket. Warner, you've got Warner Smith at backward point. He can't, obviously, because he's subbing, but you've got Stark, you've got Cummins, captain of the Australian Test team. You've got that many options. They captain themselves, really.
It's a very senior team. Only Cummins and David under the age of 30. Hazelwood bowls here. Deflection here off the back foot from Delaney. Down towards Gully. No run. There's 5 runs coming from Hazelwood's over. 8 gone, Ireland. 5 for 62 on SEN T20 World Cup cricket. For Host Plus, that's a plus. The target's 180.
Time to renovate and want Aussie made? Check out Beaumont's Aussie made specials. Not $40 a square metre, priced from just $17.95. All other Aussie floor tiles 20% off, plus hybrid flooring up to 20% off too. Choose Beaumont's and save.
Hello, it's Albert Sanusa from State Transport. With leading industry rates and ongoing training, State Transport are the best employers for local couriers, heavy rigids and semis. Apply today. statetransport.com.au/drivers.
So Ireland are 25 runs away from that DLS score. And the only reason we raise that is that there is a sense that rain is coming here at the Gabba. It's going to be Adam Zampa for the first time tonight from the Vulture Street end. Sorry, make that the Stanley Street end, the Spinners end here at the Gabba. So it's been today. And for reasons that are best explained by the Cricket Round DJ, Sweet Caroline's being played. Back when you were playing in England, this is where this all started, wasn't it? The Blast.
It did.
David Lloyd, Bumble. Have migrated over to Australia in the last couple of years. Zampa bowling. His first ball is full. Picked up by Tucker out towards long off for a single. 22. 5 for 63. One ball into the ninth.
He might be a little bit rusty, Adam. He had COVID.
Yeah.
Missed the England game in Perth as well. So he might be a little rusty. So, but he's been fantastic over many years now as a white ball specialist for Australia. Attacks the stumps. Uses his variation really well.
Zampa delivers here, close to the stumps. That's shorter, that's better. Matthew Wade approves, as you can hear through the stump mic. Delaney cuts it out to deep backward point. He's 13, 5 for 64 with that single. Target's 180.
Well, if Glenn Maxwell's captain, he'll bowl himself again, for sure.
Hope so. He's a backward point now. On a 3-man inside the circle on the offside. Zampa bowls, sweeping. Shout for leg before. Umpire Menon says no. Let's see, where's the camera going to go for the DRS timer? We'll be right in our assumption that it was Maxwell. Oh. Maybe not. Oh no, yeah, Maxwell is moving the field. So he's the sub-captain. There you go. 3 out on the leg side, 2 out on the offside. It's the short boundary. Zampa bowls using his feet. Here is Tucker digging it out, almost catching it on the full. He gets a single. He's 23, 5 for 65, 2 left in the ninth over. So we've had enough overs to constitute a game. No concerns around that as far as Australia getting the 2 points if it does rain. Zampa bowls across the line, down towards long on, catches the call, but it lands comfortably in front of Stephen Smith. Delaney to 14 with that single. 5 for 66. 114 needed from 67 balls. Last ball of the ninth. Zampa to Tucker on 23. Yorks him again. Happy with 1. Oh, they want a second. Oh, stop, start, mix up. Keeper's end, got to be. Opportunity, doesn't get there with the backhand. Throw needed to be perfect. And it was far from that. It was Delaney who was coming. Tucker wasn't. And then they were nowhere. They get away with it. 9 overs gone. Ireland 5 for 67. SEN T20 World Cup cricket. For Host Plus, that's a plus.
30 days, 30 deals starts tomorrow at Macca's. Claim a new deal every day of November, like a $2 Big Mac. Only available on the My Macca's app. Value means more at Macca's. See in app for today's deals.
Hello, it's Emma Martino from State Transport. If you have a truck, crave a work-life balance and the option to work your way, become an owner-driver for State Transport. Apply today. statetransport.com.au/drivers.
So Aaron Finch is off the field. We had Tim David off the field initially as well. Marcus Stoinis is going to get an opportunity. Australia's 6th bowler used.
Well, they've got plenty of options, haven't they? Mitch Marsh can bowl as well. I think you keep rolling Zampa from that end for a bit.
Yeah. They can squeeze from the Stanley Street end, can't they? Stoinis. His first ball at Tucker on 24. Pace off, and Tucker threads it through the gap at point. He's 25 from 24 balls, 5 for 68 the score, the target 180.
Ashton Agar flew that ball, so he's on for Aaron Finch. Steve Smith's on for Tim David. We're trying to find out what's happening there. A few injury concerns all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, there were a couple coming in, weren't there, with Mitchell Marsh wasn't bowling in the lead up to the tournament. There was Stoinis with the side strain. He's obviously recovered from that. He's bowling at the moment. Bowled in all 3 games so far.
Cameron Green can replace a batter, so that's not too bad, but 2 batters makes it interesting.
That's a good point. In here is Stoinis. Oh, that's gone straight up in the air. Charging in Stephen Smith. There are 2 men in pursuit. It ends up with Glenn Maxwell. The catch is taken. Don't think the calling was too good, but the execution was fine in the end. It's 6 for 68. Tucker's enterprising innings comes to an end. Dismissed for 25. Australia 4 wickets away from wrapping this up. Stoinis gets a wicket with his second ball. Delaney walks off for 14.
Well, he's got to keep going now. I think he had his head to hit the short boundary. Mix up almost Steve Waugh, Jason Gillespie like that one. That would have been disastrous. Steve Smith come in on the total free play. Glenn Maxwell did it easy. Marcus Stoinis very happy. He's pretty happy with that one.
That's going to be drinks as well. You can see the coach, Andrew McDonald, running out onto the field for it is the 10th over. So we'll take a brief break on SEN T20 World Cup cricket for Host Plus. That's a plus. Ireland 6 for 68, chasing 180. They're 2 balls into the 10th over.
Hello, it's Albert Sanusa from State Transport. With leading industry rates and ongoing training, State Transport are the best employers for local couriers, heavy rigids and semis. Apply today. statetransport.com.au/drivers.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Cummins to the crease, bolted. Now Bernie bowls him round his legs, went across his stumps, tried to get cute. Now 2 slips. Last ball for Stark here. Bowls him as well. Oh, that is superb from Mitchell Stark. It's a double wicket maiden to start for the Southpaw. Stark hit the stumps twice. Cummins did so once. Maxwell got a couple of wickets. It was all happening inside the power play. Ireland losing 5 for 7 at one stage between overs 2 and overs 4. There was a recovery between Gareth Delaney and Lorcan Tucker. Their partnership took them from 25 to 68, but that's where you find us here. 6 for 68 with Gareth Delaney holding out 14 from 10 balls, and Delaney, Tucker rather, on 25 is to be joined by Mark Adair down at number 8 as the various sub-fielders and support staff make their way from the Gabba. Australia would love to take all 10 here to give themselves the best possible net run rate boost, which is what they needed from tonight. They needed the 2 points, but they also needed a bit of that sweet net run rate.
Yeah, we'll soon find out how Ireland are going to play it from now, but yeah, because they'll be worried about run rate as well. You never know. You win the last game, it might get down to that. But I think they're just got to keep playing, keep going, short boundary, short side. I'd like to see a slip in, and I'd like to know who's captain of Australia at the moment, because there's arms going everywhere.
Yes, Smith, the former captain, who's the sub-fielder who led them to a World Cup back in 2016. Warner, who of course is banned from captaining, but reading reports in the newspaper today that there might be he might be on parole, as I've seen it described on that metric for this season with the Big Bash. And of course Glenn Maxwell, we've seen on camera doing it before. Looks like he's marshalling the fielders right now. Matthew Wade was the sub-captain last year when Aaron Finch was injured. So they are blessed with options. Mitchell Marsh captains WA.
And I think David's making some moves as well. Yeah, we've got Steve Smith down here. We've got everyone that can do it.
You're never going to stop Warner waving his arms about. Here's Stoinis bowling. Oh, it's up in the air as well. Matthew Wade running back with the flight. Loads of work to do. Just carries over his head. Mark Adair survives his first ball and gets a couple of runs as well, but he was not in control at all. Had no idea where that was going. Almost off the back of the bat. Score moves along to 6 for 70. We're in the 10th over. We're here for Host Plus. That's a plus. So 110 from 63 is the equation. There's some 36 runs away from that Duckworth-Lewis score if it does rain. But from Australia's perspective, it's all about trying to wrap this up as quickly as possible. Bowl aggressively, do what they need to do. Create more chances. Stoinis bowls here. Adair across the line, out towards deep backward square. There's a gap there. They should have enough time to get through for 2, and they do. He's 4. 6 for 72.
They're not worried about run rate. They're just teeing off straight away, isn't it? Yeah. So they're thinking, right, well, we're just going to have a bit of luck here and see what we can get to, which is great to watch. It's good to see comparison. Australia, they're still ahead on it. Obviously, wickets 6 for 72 compared to 2 for 69. They're going to keep going.
So Stoinis, 2 left in his first over. Already has a wicket. Bowls at the new man Adair. Back of a length. Bounces up. Tries to place it through the cordon. Ends up with Matthew Wade, albeit after missing the bat. So they need to go at 10.45 runs and over, according to the Beaumont tile screen. If they were 3 for 72, we'd be talking that up.
That's exactly right. You would be. The pleasing thing is, and I thought they might just shut up shop, but they're not. They're going to keep going.
Extra fielder back on the leg side for Stoinis' last ball. That's the short boundary. A swing, doesn't get much of it, ends up dead straight. Stephen Smith races in from long on, keeps it to a single. Adair retains the strike. He's 5. Another successful over for Australia. with Ireland now 6 for 73, and our coverage for Host Plus, that's a plus.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Hello, it's Emma Martino from State Transport. If you have a truck, crave a work-life balance and the option to work your way, become an owner-driver for State Transport. Apply today. statetransport.com.au/drivers.
So reports on social media from Louis Cameron, who's been part of our SEN Test cricket team in the past, that and now works for cricket.com.au, that it's hamstring issues for both Tim David and Aaron Finch. That must be official word coming from the Aussie camp. Zampa starts his second over. Off the back foot, Adair doesn't beat the man at cover. Or a shy at the non-striker stumps. Is that Warner in there? Of course it was Warner.
I wonder if that's hitting as well. In the Beaumont Tiles replay.
It isn't hitting, but yeah, had it been a direct hit, Zampa got in the way. Yeah, not quite. Goes again. Adair's on strike. Zampa here on the stumps. It's the wrong one. Popped into the onside, no single. Right, so yes, a few injury concerns for the best 11 for Australia, because that's certainly where Finch as captain and David as the finisher sit at the moment. Zampa bowls again on the stumps, carved away really well by Mark Adair, down for 4 at backward point. Even Matthew Wade liked it, saying nice shot, commentating on the stroke. 6 for 77 in the 11th over.
Yeah, nice shot. Too close to cut, and he got it through the gap for 4. In the Beaumont Tiles replay, 2 hamstrings. So they're normally 2 or 3 weeks, aren't they?
Well, it's saying Louis Cameron's reporting it's Finch's right hamstring and David's left hamstring showing signs of tightness. Zampa bowls and Adair gets forward to defend. Collected in his follow-through.
I'm tipping Aaron Finch is going to be fine. He's captain. Will David want to be interesting?
Well, let's do the hypothetical on that, shall we? Zampa bowls. Going back is Adair, getting his 10th run, a single. Mitch Marsh does the work at backward point, 6 for 78. If David is actually injured to the point where he could leave the squad, they can bring in another batter.
Yep, you could bring in another batter.
Would that be a McDermott, possibly?
Well, do they need it, or they got Smith and Green in?
Would they could bring another player into the squad by point?
Yeah. What do you bring in?
Not many of them bat down the list, do they? A lot of them open. Zampa bowls. He's down defending after Tucker digs out a full delivery, a straight 1-2. Only 5 runs coming from the Zampa over. He's got none for 10 from 2. 11 overs gone for Ireland, who are chasing 180, and they're 6 for 78.
Hello, it's Albert Sanusa from State Transport. With leading industry rates and ongoing training, State Transport are the best employers for local couriers, heavy rigids and semis. Apply today. statetransport.com.au/drivers.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Another one bites the dust. Cameron Green's on the field now as well. Have to work out who's there.
Marcus Thornis has just gone off for a toilet break, I think, to be fair. But we've got 3 substitutes on.
Very unusual in a T20. So Mitch Stark has bowled 2 overs, 2 for 13. He's away from us. To Mark Adair on 10. First ball, clipped away, just in front of square. Gets a single. He's 11 from 10 balls. 12th over, 6 for 79. That target's 180. So let's play that game. Hypothetically, if a batter needed to come into the squad and it needed to be someone down the list as distinct from another opener, that would be interesting, because they're kind of, it's becoming a bit of a specialist position, coming in with, say, anywhere between, say, 12 and 30 balls to go. That's what Tim David's there for, not to bat through the innings. Stark, left arm over, bowls here. Off-pace, slower ball, pulled away into the gap really well by Tucker. He's not had much strike in the last couple of overs, but makes the most of it here. That's his 5th boundary. He's 29, Ireland, 6 for 83. They're inside 100 for what it's worth.
Nice shot on the Beaumont Tiles replay there. Another boundary. He's played quite well. He's been impressive. Came in early. Bit of firepower going on. Wickets falling around him. He'll need to get a big score tonight, obviously.
Mexican wave started round the ground beneath us just before. Here's Stark again. Can he get a wicket? No, he won't. That's a lovely shot from Tucker. Opened up the offside, found the gap between mid-off and cover. That's his 6th boundary. He's 33 from 27, and in all probability, he'll be in a losing side tonight, Lorcan Tucker, but he'll enhance his reputation, that's for sure. 6 for 87 the score.
Yeah, he's shown enough. 93 off 51. Wicket's the problem. He won't have much to come batting-wise, but he's going to go down swinging Ireland.
Prompts a change in field. They send a long off back outside the circle. Stark passes Gaffney now and bowls, and oh, that's a nice slower ball. That's all the air taken out of it. Looking forward to seeing the pace. Hopefully it'll pop up on the screen. 120 clicks, so banged it in about halfway, and it bounced a couple of times before reaching that weight. A high quality dot. 2 balls left in the over. Am I missing an obvious one there? I said McDermott before. Is there another player from Big Bash Land who would...
Depends which way they want to go, don't they? They've got enough hitting power, really, haven't they? You bring Cameron Green in.
But would Green play as the finisher? I mean, remembering that when he has turned out in the T20 side, it's been as an opener.
Yeah.
Could they reshuffle? Stark bowls here. Outside part of the bat, but gets plenty of it. Out towards deep backward point and doesn't quite go the journey. Dragged in, relay throw. Nice bit of work out there from Ashton Agar, the sub. 6 for 89, the score moves along to. That was in concert with Adam Zampa, I should say. Tucker 33 from 28 deliveries now.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Ben McDermott, he had a good year with Hobart Hurricanes. Sort of want to finish it, don't you?
Yeah, Philippe's now been playing down the list, hasn't he? He's gone from being an opener to being sort of a 4 or a 5.
Josh Inglis would have been
Josh
in that
Inglis,
role.
absolutely. Well, he's another one.
Alex Carey?
Yeah, you can see that. Stark up to the crease and bowls here. Oh, that's gone high off a top edge towards mid-wicket. There's a fielder under it, and it's gone through the hands. It's one of the subs, I think. Is that Cameron Green? It's Pat Cummins. Correction. You don't see him put down too many. End of the 12th over. 6 for 90 the score. Tucker moves to 36. SEN T20 World Cup cricket. The Host Plus, that's a plus.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Hello, it's Emma Martino from State Transport. If you have a truck, crave a work-life balance and the option to work your way, become an owner-driver for State Transport. Apply today. statetransport.com.au/drivers.
Adam Zampa prepares to bowl his 3rd over. None for 10 from 2 so far. The last ball of the previous over. Hanging for a long time in the night sky. Pat Cummins was just running back with the flight. It was a slightly tougher chance than it looked on face value. Our replay screen for Beaumont Tiles. Went straight through his hands, though. 6 for 90. Tucker back on strike on 36. He's forward and pushing one out to cover. 37, 6 for 91.
Travis Head. We just spoke about it, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean,
Smokey?
It'd be outside the box because he doesn't really play in those tournaments, but he's certainly done it for the strikers. I mean, you've got to go back a while to that famous century on New Year's Eve.
I'm just
in that kind of middle over roll. Oh, stumping easy. Too easy, really. Mark Adair went dancing, but when he got to the crucial moment, he just tried to knock it into the onside. Where was the swing?
Well, he just missed it, didn't he?
He's gone for 11. Adam Zampa gets his name in the book. 7 for 91. We're in the 13th over. That target, for what it's worth, is 180.
Well, that's another good wicket for Adam Zampa. He almost knows what they're doing all the time.
Yeah.
Read the batsman very well. Easy stumping for Matthew Wade there. Normal leg spinner. Held it up a little bit slower. And he really just all or nothing there. Another wicket falls. Oh, 7 for 91. Only 12.2. Game is falling apart for him.
And important for Adam Zampa there, I reckon, as well, just to, get his name in the book. He took a wicket against New Zealand, but missed the Sri Lanka game. Of course, he had 13 victims at the World Cup last year, the most for Australia, and was in the team of the tournament. He's the number 7 bowler in the world, according to the ICC, but having not played in a week and a half in a tournament setup and having had COVID between times, that's not for nothing.
No, that's right. You need that confidence boost to get back into the wickets and feel like you're part of it again. So for Adam Zampa, who I think has been excellent over a long period of time now.
So the new batter is Fionn Hand. He's playing his 4th game of T20 international cricket, yet to make a contribution with the blade. Out of provincial cricket during the Irish summer, into the national side, onto the plane. Only bowled 1 over earlier this evening, had 15 runs taken from it. Can he make a dent here? Zampa to him. First ball goes back to the wrong un. Just keeps it out. Well bowled, Adam Zampa.
Just going back to our other point, the replacement player, they're going to be a good player of spin.
Yes.
Because they're about to come up against Najib, Rashid Khan, Nabi on Adelaide Oval, which will turn a little bit.
Zampa delivers using his feet this time. His hand, probably a better play. Gets to the pitch of it. Gets a single down to long off the mark from his second delivery. 7 for 91. Yes, and it won't get any easier than that when you get to the elimination stages. If they make it through and cop India, well, it'll be Ashwin. Maybe Akshar Patel as well. Zampa delivers. Fraction shorter here. Tucker goes back and takes an easy single to deep mid-wicket. Turns it into a second, taking on Ashton Agar. Well batted. Good running from Tucker. Liked the way he's gone about it tonight. He's now 39. 7 for 94 the score. So a good player of spin. Can hit bombs in the last 5 overs. Has some form to go with it. There'll be no perfect candidate, I suspect, if that is the prognosis for David. Single here out towards mid-wicket again from Tucker, who moves into the 40s from his 33rd delivery. 7 for 95. That's 13 gone on SEN T20 World Cup cricket for Host Plus. That's a plus. Ireland still 85 runs away, 42 balls left.
Hear the major moments in sport crystal clear, anytime, anywhere on the SEN app.
Bouncing! Oh, don't tell me! Goal! Djokovic a mile back, and he smashes into the net!
On air, podcasts, live sport, news, video content, your city, your town.
Oh my God!
Download the SEN app from the Apple and Google app stores. It's also available on Apple CarPlay. The SEN app, your home of sport, from wherever you are on the planet.
Back comes Pat, the Test captain, Cummins to bowl over number 14. 1 for 20 so far. He got the first wicket. Then a Balbirnie bowled him round his legs. The captain in the second over. Back from the Vulture Street end. He's got 3 out on the leg side. Deep, fine leg. Deep square, deep mid-wicket. Mid on inside the circle. Deep cover and a deep third on the offside. Bowling here to Tucker. Dancing around the crease before the ball was bowled. So Cummins sends down a slow ball bouncer. Earns himself a dot to start over number 14. 7 for 95 to score. So in the absence of the perfect candidate, if Tim David has done a hammy, and we're speculating to an extent here, the reshuffle inside the Australian lineup, who in the top 4 could go down to number 6?
Well, you could easily have Maxwell slide if you want to do. Steve Smith can come in higher. Green can come in higher, or they make him do the role lower.
Cummins bowls. Over the top goes Tucker. He gets the ball to land just in front of Glenn Maxwell, who's charging it off the rope at deep mid-wicket and throws in a bullet return to Matthew Wade over the stumps at the keeper's end. Tucker's 41, 7 for 96 with that single. So Maxwell goes to 6, and you accept that you give a bit away earlier in the innings, but
they might do that. I mean, that's depends. You're not going to carry both blokes, are you, with hamstrings?
True, yeah.
You would think one's going to make a change, and we don't know how bad it's going to be, obviously, but if you're an AFL footballer, you're normally weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, aren't you? That tournament's done. So I would think they're probably going to have to make a change.
Could be that opening that Stephen Smith's been looking for. Must have been close to getting a game today. I'm sure he would have played at the MCG on Friday had they got on. Cummins bowls here. Fionn Hand gets a single. Short ball up towards the rib cage and deflects it into the onside. He's 2. 7 for 97.
The other thing is, you just bring Smith in for David, right? And Smith bats if they're 3 for not many.
Yep.
You know, and he just slides down, and then you've got Wade who's batting at 7 anyway. You know, and Smith and the grounds, he'll be able to manipulate the field where he wants anyway. He can bat at the depth if he has to. You know, he's that sort of player. He's a pretty good bloody replacement, isn't he?
And they've done that. You've seen teams do that with their quote-unquote anchor. That they and Australia have got an anchor right now in Aaron Finch. So he's playing that role already.
That's right.
So they've got that extra layer of flexibility. It's not often that your opener doubles up as your anchor, but such as it is in his Aussie 11. Cummins into Tucker. Bowles here on 41. Make that 42. Forceful strike down to long on. Mitchell Stark beneath us does the fielding. 7 for 98. A couple of balls left in the 14th over. That target is 180, so they need to go at 13s from here to win, unlikely as it is.
It's been impressive, Tucker, hasn't he? He stood the barrage early. 42 off 36. Oh, and they'll be a bit frustrated here, Australia, because they just keep creeping up there, don't they?
A chance to bat out their overs too. Cummins bowls here, short ball, doesn't quite land the execution there for on hand. He went back to try and deflect it through about second slip. In the end, lucky he didn't edge it. Dot ball, just 3 singles in the over. Yeah, so Australia from here will be able to squeeze and make sure they don't lose the game. I mean, not that they're anywhere close to having Ireland in the hunt, but it's the 10-wicket piece, isn't it?
Well, that, and you know, you don't want to get on. Oh, you don't want to get them 120 or 130, do you?
Yeah. Well,
that doesn't help you too much.
Got to finish the job here. Cummins in to Theon Hand. Nice shot. Aerial over point off the front foot. That's a boundary. To the long side of the ground as well. All of 85 metres in that direction. Timing and placement from the journeyman. He's 6. Into 14 overs. Ireland bring up their 100. 7 for 102 on SEN T20 World Cup cricket by Host Plus. That's a plus.
At codesports.com.au, we know every big story has a backstory. Get an exclusive view into the who, how, why, and everything in between. Explained by the experts. Code, the thought behind sport.
Urban Alley Brewery, Knox Ozone and District Docklands are the perfect venues for end-of-year functions. Mention SEN when booking and all your guests can enjoy a free drink on arrival. Book now at urbanalley.com.au. T's and C's apply.
What we kind of need, Buff, is a live ladder for net run rate. It doesn't quite exist, but
our listeners do as well, so we can tell them what's going on.
Well, coming into this evening, Australia were negative 1.55, and you compare that to England, who are in the black by 0.239. Zampa starts his 4th over. He's got 1 for 15. It's full and straight and driven down the ground by Tucker for 1. He's 43. 7 for 103 the score. So I suppose the question is, will Australia overtake England by the end of tonight? Now, they don't need to. They're playing Afghanistan in the final game. They'll have the flexibility there to make a call on how they play that. It's not all about tonight, but Zampa bowls to Theon Hand. Using his feet, he's bowled around the legs. You can see what he was trying to do, getting down the track to try and sweep it on the full, but Zampa dragged the length back just a tad. He's now got 2 for 16. Running that into the middle stump. Hand gone for 6, and that helps. 8 for 103. They've got to bowl Ireland out here, and ideally doing it soon.
Yep, just have a look at the Montoll's replay there. He was only going to get 1 for that shot anyway. A high-risk shot when you're full and a 45 in play. Nice and high. It was the wrong one from Adam Zampa. Bowled the stumps and just beat him on length, really, more than anything else. And now it's a case of 9 and 10 for Australia. Run rate comes into it. Big win. Batted first. Got 180. We thought they'd get 200, but, you know, Ireland, to their credit, bowled reasonably well in patches.
Yeah, you exclude the 2 heavy overs that Mark Ardere had, and their back 10 was not too bad. By the way, have you seen Marcus Stoinis come back out yet? Oof. I don't think we have. Cameron Green's still out there. Interesting.
That is interesting. No, I
assumed it was a bathroom break. He bowled that 1 over, didn't he?
Yeah. Now, if it's his side that was having problems with.
There was nothing wrong with the over. 1 over, 1 for 6.
Don't need him.
Take a look on the on the social media, see what we can find. Adam Zampa bowls. The new batter is Barry McCarthy, pushing out to the offside, no run. Barry McCarthy won his first professional contract because he was netting in a game for Ireland against England. Ben Stokes saw him. He goes, who's this guy?
Really?
And he signed him for Durham pretty much there and then. McCarthy facing up. Zampa's taken down the ground for 1. 8 for 104. Yeah, he was just a net bowler for England when they were over in Ireland a number of years ago, and Stokes is like, I like this guy. Gave the recommendation to his county, and that got McCarthy on his way before he eventually signed a full-time deal with Ireland, and which now precludes him from playing in the domestic cricket in England, but still, nice start. Cross the line here from Tucker, dancing. Doesn't get anywhere near enough of it to threaten the boundary. Ashton Agart races in from deep mid-wicket, long side of the ground. He gets 1, 44 for Tucker. You'd love to see him get 50 from here. 8 for 105.
He deserves a 50. I think he's played really well under the circumstances.
Zampa to McCarthy on 1. Flat out the front of the hand. And he flat bats it down to long on for a single. He's 2. 8 for 106. And that will be the end of the 15th over. So Ireland requires 75 in the final 5. Our coverage is for Host Plus. That's a plus. 8 for 106.
The way into the caves of New Zealand's lost world is down a 100-metre rope into a misty, prehistoric abyss. About here, nerves give way to wonder as the sunlight falling through the forest above forms a column of light around you. What's it look like? I'd show you, but this here's got no pictures. You'll have to come if you seek 100% pure New Zealand.
Josh Hazlewood back into the attack from the Vulture Street end. None for 12 from 2 for him so far. He'd like to get in the book as well, I'm sure. Did so a couple of times against New Zealand in Australia's opener a couple of weeks ago. Hazlewood bowling here. Across the line, down towards mid-on. Mitchell Stark does the fielding. Shy at the stumps at the non-striker's end. McCarthy's through, but not with any real elegance with the dive. The bat went one way, the legs went the other. Oh, gosh. Could have done himself a mischief there. He tripped on his bat.
Well, he got off strike, didn't he?
He already hurt himself once tonight with a spectacular diving stop beneath us here at the Vulture Street end to save a 6. 8 for 107. Hazlewood. 2 out on the offside. Bowls here. Short, slower ball. Does it well. Just over the shoulder of the hooking Tucker, who can't make contact. They need 73 from 28 for what it's worth from here, Ireland. 2 wickets in hand.
28 balls. Wrap it up. Next 9 balls. Yeah, you do a really good reversal on the run rate there, don't you, from that New Zealand game?
Yeah, that'll just about do the trick. Get them up towards England ahead of their blockbuster tomorrow night. Hazlewood bowls. It's a nice strike from Tucker. What a way to move to 50. That's in the second deck over long on. Way over Mitchell Stark's head. He's taken Hazlewood the journey. So Tucker brings up his half-century from just 40 balls. And in the context of the carnage he was surveying from the non-striker's end after coming in at first drop, that is a fantastic performance. 1 6 5 4s and a real player for the future, Darren Lehmann.
Yeah, hats off to him. He's played really well tonight.
Hazlewood to Tucker. Does he go again? Over the top of the cordon. That's 4 more. So he's 54 from 41. Ireland up to 8 for 117. That'll be most frustrating for the Australians, who just want to finish this off.
Well, they do, don't they? They don't want to get down to... They don't want Ireland to get 130 and bowl. Then it's really one of those games that you could have won by a lot more. 26 balls left. You'd want to bowl them out in the next 10 balls. 63 from 26 they need, which they won't get unless something remarkable happens. But it's suddenly a game that doesn't feel like an absolute hiding if they can keep this up for 4 more overs. Hazlewood in, and Tucker, block hole, digs it out just off the toe of the bat. Gets through for a single. It's Tucker 55. 8 for 118. 1 ball left in Hazlewood's over.
62 from 25.
They've still got to find it over, don't they? With Storness off the ground. Maxwell's bowled 2.
Yeah, Maxwell
Storness
2.
1. So they've still got to find it over there as well. So when do they do that? Mitch Marsh? They do that probably next over to the big end. That'll be Maxwell, you would think, or Mitch Marsh. They don't want to leave it too late.
Maxwell's probably the safe bet. Hazelwood in here, and it's full and wide and inside the tram tracks to McCarthy. So a dot ball to finish. The strike goes back to Tucker on 55. Ireland 8 for 118. They need 62 from the last 4 overs on SEN T20 World Cup cricket. For Host Plus, that's a plus.
Hi, I'm Lenny. Without Coinly, I had NF idea how to do my NFT, DeFi or crypto tax. So I use Coinly with a K.
Great crypto, less taxes.
At codesports.com.au, we know sport's greatest stories lie way beyond the scoreboard. Get an exclusive view into the who, how, why, and everything in between, explained by the experts. Code, the thought behind sport.
So they're not going to get that extra over out here. Instead, they're going to return to Mitchell Starc, probably with a view to finishing it off quickly, which stands to reason. So Stark's taken 2 for 25. The first of those 3 overs was a double wicket maiden, knocking over in the space of 5 deliveries Curtis Camphor and George Dockrell. Now he's in at Tucker. 55 from 42 for the Irish number 3. 3 out on the leg side. That's the long boundary. Starc here. Oh, over the top of the keeper. Resourceful. That's a nice shot. A scoop of sorts. It does the trick. Tucker up to 59. He's hit 7 fours and a 6. Ireland 8 for 122. Interesting.
Well, from an Australian point of view, they've probably scored too many now, haven't they?
Yeah. Top execution, watching it back for Beaumont Tiles.
Very good shot.
He still believes, Lorcan Tucker. He sees 58 from 23 and says, I'll have that. Just prompts a change in field. So Josh Hazelwood go almost to backstop. Matthew Wade's placing him, pretty much over the top of where first slip is to protect against that shot again. Starc bowls, opens it up over the top of long off. It'll go for at least 4, might have gone the whole way. Bounces just once before passing the ropes. 63 now for Lorcan Tucker. 54 needed from 22. It's 8 for 126. We'll put it this way, Buff. If Tucker can face 20 of those 22 balls, he's allowed to dream a little.
He can dream. With shots like that, he's obviously picked his spot. I mean, there's a big gap here now. Third man almost. So I think you find he's going to look backward a point or go the same area he did before.
Starc, Stanley Street end. Tucker makes room on his hip. Takes it out to deep square. Could be 2. He'll want 2. Takes on Agar. Does it nicely.
Well, he's quick as well, isn't
Tucker 65 from 45 balls. 8 for 128. That brings it down to 22 from 21. We haven't talked in those terms often tonight, Buff, but I think we should, at least for the moment.
I totally agree. Well, wouldn't you? 65 or 45 his last couple of overs. The ball's gone around. He's faced most of the balls.
Yeah.
He's been excellent there.
He was starved for strike for a while there, wasn't he, in those middle overs?
When the wickets were falling, he couldn't get the strike.
Yeah. So a deep fine and a deep third. Starc bowls, makes room again, tries to go over the keeper's head. Is it too high? It is. The short ball's called a wide by umpire Menon. And it's also the last short ball he can bowl for the over. 8 for 129. Starc's still got 3 balls to bowl in this over. 51 from 21. This is fun. Although not fun for Australia, I'm tipping.
No, not fun.
Given this was all about net run, not all about. It was about the 2 points. Then it was about net run rate.
That's right.
They had him 5 for 25. It was all about net run rate. Now,
come round the wicket, Mitchell Starc, and go at the stumps. He normally does that very well.
So Hazelwood's inside the circle now at short third. Starc stays left arm over. Stanley Street end. And Tector and Tucker can't make contact to a full delivery outside the off stump. Well bowled. Good response from Starc at 143 kilometres an hour. So your point from last over, at some stage, They have to bowl Glenn Maxwell for an over here. Now, Tucker's got much better numbers against pace compared to Seam across his career. In his tournament alone, he's been out twice to spin, only making 31 runs, where against Seam, he's got a strike rate of 130. So there is a natural preference for him taking on pace, as we're seeing here. Stark to the crease to Tucker. Over the top of mid-off again for more. Well, isn't this a wonderful solo hand? It's inside 50 now. 47 needed. And there are still 19 deliveries left in this game. We have seen many teams win games with equations like this, 47 from 19. The trick usually is having wickets in hand and having a set player. Well, Ireland have got that. Tucker 69 from 47. And he doesn't care what they throw at him.
Well, he's got to keep the strike, so he almost has to take one, doesn't he, for this ball?
Stark's last delivery. Delivers to Tucker. To down through the leg side. Yes, it is signalled. So Tucker did give himself a little bit of room, and Stark tried to follow him, and it didn't go to plan. Another sundry. And watching it back for Beaumont Tiles, that was well down the leg side. Stark was exasperated, intimating to the umpire it might have clipped a pad on the way through, but no evidence of that on the replay. So 46 from 19. Big over this. Stark's last ball, he's got 2 for 41. Tucker takes a single to deep mid-wicket. There's probably 2 there. Will they take the 2? They do take the 2. So he won't have the strike at the start of the 18th over. But what an over it's been for Ireland. It's down to 44 needed from the last 3 overs. Stark's finished up with 2 for 43. Tucker's now into the 70s. And our coverage is for Host Plus. That's a plus. For 136 the score. So Pat Cummins will bowl out next, which does mean that over 19 and or 20 could be quite interesting.
Well, if they get through this over, it will be.
So Barry McCarthy's got one job here, and one job only. Get off strike. 3 out on the leg side, 2 on the offside. Mid on and mid off inside the circle. McCarthy makes room, swings and misses. That wasn't the plan. Cummins banging it in halfway, wide enough that he had to reach for it. 44 from 17. So where's he find the single here? Is it a deflection? Use the pace of Cummins.
Well, he's going to have to just... Well, he's going to bowl short, isn't he, every ball. Cummins is going to make him hit square of the wicket. So really, it's hard to get a single. He's almost got to try and hit it over backward point.
Cummins to the crease. Bowls to McCarthy, who swings hard through the onside, and he's caught at deep mid-wicket. Straight into the hands of Stephen Smith, the sub-fielder. McCarthy's gone for 3. It's 9 for 136. Had he kept it on the ground, and boy, he got it well, got it right out the middle, it would have been strike back to Tucker. And with the benefit of reflection, they shouldn't have taken that 2 from the last ball of the previous over. They should have been happy with the 1.
Mind you, he hit it well, didn't he? On our Beaumont Tiles replay, flat, straight to a bloke that can catch, and Steve Smith. A foot either side or a metre either side, taking some catching, it was flat, hit it well. And now they change to get Tucker back on strike.
And it's going to be Josh Little charged with that responsibility. The number 11 averages 7.7 in T20 international cricket. Played plenty of them, despite being just 22 years of age. Made his debut as a 16-year-old. It's all about how he can somehow give the strike back to Lorcan Tucker, who can, in that most unlikely scenario, give them something in the last 2 overs. But yes, the complexion changes without the all-rounder McCarthy. .44 from 16. Cummins, can he finish it off? 44 needed. Cummins bowls, and it's beaten the bat of Little, who swayed back and tried to place it down to deep third to get that single, not to be.
just can't get on strike, can they?
Might reach the point where he says to Little, just see these out. I mean, the balance of probability is that Little could get out trying to find that single and give him a strike for one ball. Still 3 left for Cummins. To the crease here. Oh, hits him. They get through. They don't get through. They go back. For a moment, Tucker was coming. It was a short, fierce delivery from Cummins that crashed into the back shoulder of Little, who was trying to slap it at the deep backward square. It spat out to backward point instead. Another dot ball. Cummins.
They probably should run there, really.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's a risky one, but you got to get him on strike. If you have any chance of winning, he's got to hit a couple of boundaries and then get the strike back. Now you're almost right. He's better to stay almost.
He's got 2 balls left here, Cummins. Short again and misses it again. He tried to place it over the wicket-keeper, Wade. Not to be. David Warner's appealing for caught behind from mid-off on the circle. I'm not quite sure what he's heard, but whatever it was, Matthew Wade, the wicket-keeper, had no real interest in it, so there'll be no review. 4 dots and a wicket in the over. Perfect from Cummins, which really means from here that I'm sure this is what Tucker has said to Little here. Just don't get out. Give me 2 overs and see what's possible. Cummins' final delivery, and Little does swing across the line. Of why they're taking that single. That is preposterous batting. 9 for 137. There's still 2 overs to go and 43 runs required. SEN T20 World Cup Cricket, the Host Plus. That's a plus.
When the job needs doing, that's Ace. When you need it fast, that's Ace. When it's Ace Gutters, it's built to last.
As a roofing plumber working on an estate, I can't afford to be sitting around waiting for gutters, fascias and downpipes to be delivered. That's why I've always used Ace Gutters. If I order a stocked item by 5 a.m. that morning, I know I'll get it the same day.
When it's Ace Gutters, it's built to last.
Call 9586 4888 or log on to acegutters.com.au.
What are they thinking there? So Lorcan Tucker misses an entire over of strike. They lose a wicket. They only had 1 run. That's from the number 11 from the final ball.
I can only think, and Glenn Maxwell about to bowl this over, so yeah. But I can only think they're thinking also run rate might become important.
Yeah, I suppose so. Reverse sweeping Little. They do take a single. To the bowler's end, Maxwell takes the stumps. Isn't run out. Will go upstairs. The throw from Mitch Marsh wasn't a bad one, but it wasn't a bullet either. It was a reverse sweep from Little that went out to backward point. Maxwell got the bails off. It feels like he's home on our first replay, although it'll be close.
It is going to be close. And the Beaumont Tolls replay, we're going to have a good look at this one. If he didn't get there, that's poor batting in the last couple overs. If he did, he didn't get there. No. That's out. That's the end of the game. That's a really good win by Australia. Yes, they would have liked to win by more, but Ireland, hats off to young Tucker. 71 of 48. And he's about to give it out. They're shaking hands, and that's a good win, mate.
Yeah, they'll be dismissed for 137, Ireland. Their target was 180, so they're going to fall 42 runs short of that. The final margin there. Little run out for 1. And Tucker unbeaten on 71 from 48, which feels the right result, Wolf. That was the plus performance from an Irish perspective, that they've found one here. Host Plus, an industry super fund for all Australians, the plus performance. And Tucker has shown it a couple of times in this competition that he really is a player that Ireland can build around for a number of years.
Yeah, he's the way he played. You know, he should have probably actually had strike a bit more in the last couple of overs, and that's the only thing. But you get down to run rate, they didn't get knocked over very quickly in terms of 18.1. They got to within, as you said, 43. So it was a pretty solid performance. They had to chase 180 on the back of Aaron Finch's 63, but Tucker, lone hand, 71 not out of 48.
Let's get out to a quick break here with Ireland all out for 137. When we return, it'll be the presentation. SEN T20 World Cup Cricket, the Host Plus. That's a plus. Australia victorious by 42 runs.
If you love chasing, pacing and racing, we've got it all covered on SEN Track. Every day, SEN Track has all the latest news in the morning.
I'm Thunderstruck is back and looking leaner as he targets victory in the Cox Plate.
Then throughout the day, up-to-date interviews and race form.
The right horse gets the job done!
As well as a healthy dose of banter and hilarity.
Oh, geez, I'm on fire today.
Listen live and catch up on the SEN app. Download it today. SEN Track, your home of chasing, pacing and racing.
So Ireland all out for 137. Lorcan Tucker top scoring, 71 not out from 48 balls, 9 fours and 1 6. The second highest score was Gareth Delaney with 14, which speaks volumes about the way the Australian bowlers went to work going through the top order. Wickets falling at 18, 18, 24, 25 and 25 inside the first 4 overs. 2 of them by Mitchell Starc, but after a double wicket maiden, he was expensive. 2 for 43 from 4. His last over really went around. Glenn Maxwell finishes with 2 for 14 from 2.1 overs. His 2 wickets coming inside the power play. Pat Cummins, excellent at the end, 2 for 28 from 4. He also knocked over the captain, Balbirnie, inside the power play. Adam Zampa did as he does so often. The squeeze in the middle overs, 2 for 19 from 4. And Marcus Stoinis, 1 for 6 from 1. But didn't return to the field after going off following that one over. The plus performance from Australia for Host Plus, an industry super fund for all Australians. Adam Zampa coming back from COVID, Darren Lehmann, and as I say, doing as he's been so dependably able to do for Australia over the last 4 or 5 years. Just aim the ball at the stumps with overspinners and wrong-uns and make it tough for any batting side.
And he's done that, and we've actually got an update of the run rate as well. So that's a big turnaround for Australia. We've obviously got the minus 0.3. England is still in front of them. If they win tomorrow night against New Zealand, they'll go back above Australia, which means they've cut the run rate, but still a lot of work to do. England, New Zealand, key game tomorrow. But Adam Zampa was excellent tonight. It's good to see him back, recovered from COVID, played well again. 180 also helps, doesn't it? When you get 180 on a good track and you can defend that, they look like defending it and actually winning by more, and that run rate would even got a better outlook, apart from young Tucker, who was magnificent for New Zealand today. Ireland today. He played beautifully.
It says a bit about how badly they were thumped by New Zealand, that having beaten Sri Lanka in 16.3 overs and having got the job done here, bowling out Ireland in 18.1, they're still in the red, which means they've got work to do against Afghanistan and Adelaide in a couple of days.
They have, and they're not going to be easy in Adelaide. Adelaide suits the way Afghanistan play, and they've got the best player in the world, haven't they? Rashid Khan. So they're going to have to bat well. They're going to have to back that up, the 180 again, and play as well as they possibly can. They're going to have to hope New Zealand knock off England, and then it's just down to that game, isn't it?
Well, that's a huge game here at the Gabba. Back again tomorrow night, Wolf, and can't wait to be here covering it for SEN T20 World Cup cricket for Host Plus. That's a plus. If New Zealand do Australia a favour and knock off England, well, they'll just need to beat Afghanistan. If England win, then it'll be all about that precious net run rate and what they can do against Afghanistan in their final game.
That's right. And England, if they win, their run rate's going to go back up again.
Absolutely.
So you're chasing the game again. So there's a bit of work to do. They would have liked to polish off this game a little bit better. But having said that, all you can do is win, and you win by 40. Aaron Finch will be very happy. Hopefully his leg's okay and his hamstring. The way he played today was a lot better, and that's a good sign for him.
Well, I wonder who the player of the match will be for Biz Cover. No dramas, business insurance. I mean, I think Finch, on the basis that he did make 63 from 44 and he did pull the right reins as captain. I think sometimes in short form cricket we've got to remember that it's a constantly evolving situation for a captain.
Oh, it is. It's a tough job, and I thought they were fantastic in those first few overs. I still think Mitchell Starc should take the new ball, even what I saw tonight. I just think if he's going to do that, he swings it in, and he's very good.
Let's go down to the pitch side, where it looks like Aaron Finch is ready to talk at the presentation.
Aaron, great to see you with an award under your hand. Before we get to your physical state, tell us about your innings. Well batted, and congratulations to you and your team.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It wasn't the easiest wicket. It was a lot slower than what we thought it would be. It was quite hard, but they changed their pace really well, and they bowled a lot of cutters early in the innings, so it was hard to get a rhythm, and I think getting 180, we're happy with that score in the end.
Your own performance with the bat, I know you're not a man to typically read what's being written and said about you. Were you feeling the pressure building up or not?
Not at all. No, not at all, to be honest. The support from the change room and the coaching staff has been unbelievable. So I know how I'm batting. I know that I'm training very, very well. So that's all you can control. You get out in the middle and you let your instinct take over. And it's just one of those things. T20 is a high-risk game at times, and sometimes you get them out of the middle early, some days you don't.
And today you did over mid-wicket, massive six, and it really seemed to set you going, Skip.
Yeah, it was, like I said, when they went to try and bowl really wide and they missed, it was probably a little bit easier when they were going into the wicket and cutters, mixed in with a bit of pace on. So it was just one of those days where you just had to be really comfortable to take the innings a bit deeper, because it wasn't easy to walk out and just brain them from the start.
Now, the more difficult question, obviously, you had an issue when you were batting and didn't complete the innings in the field. Can you give us an idea? Is it a hamstring, and how are you feeling, mate?
Little hammy twinge, I think, so I'll get scanned tomorrow. Unfortunately, I've had a history of them, so we'll see how it goes. That doesn't feel too bad at the moment, but generally overnight they can stiffen up, but we'll get a scan and get the full results.
Next Friday is your game against Afghanistan. Are you hopeful? You're still an opportunity, you think?
Yeah, very hopeful. We'll wait and see, though. We'll know once we get the scan tomorrow.
Cheers, Skipper, and well played, well batted.
Cheers, Howie.
That was Aaron Finch talking with Mark Howard. We'll hear in a moment from the Irish captain, Andy Balbirnie, and we'll get the player of the match and so on. But out the back of that, Darren Lehmann, if you're going off for a scan in the morning and you're not immediately saying that you're playing on Friday, there's some stuff between the lines there. Decode it for us.
Well, I can't, but I know the medical staff will be just saying, well, we've just got to be careful and make sure you're 100% or as close to be. Afghanistan, depending on the result of what happens tomorrow night, they might be a luxury to say, you know what, we're going to rest you for that extra time before the semi-finals. There's all these things come into it. A scan will show up what it will be. If it's any sort of tear or any strain, you think it'd be 2 to 3 weeks. That's normally what the case is for AFL footballers.
Yeah, I think more just like the way that, again, you know, we did this for a job, don't we? We try and interpret language after games and so on. And Buff, when you were coach, we tried to interpret what you were saying in situations like this. And when a player thinks they're good, they're not talking about their scan the next day. That's all I was saying on the way through, you know what I mean?
Well, I'd like to know what's happened with the other guys as well. Not just him, David, Marcus Stoinis. But you're right. If he's asking for a scan, I'm going... Well, not asking, he's been told to go for a scan by the medical department. That's what they do traditionally anyway. So, you know, that's just one of the safe measures, and you wait till you get all the results and make a judgment from there. But you wouldn't be overly happy, would you? You'd be thinking, how good or bad is it?
It's going to be a very interesting conversation at the back of this win for Australia by 42 runs. I can't see another player down at the presentation, so I'm assuming Aaron Finch will also be the player of the match. Think T20 is quick. Try BizCover business insurance in minutes for our player of the match as well. We gave him the thumbs up, Buff, that Aaron Finch returning to form with that 63 from 44 deliveries. Our final summation, Buff, Australia did what they needed to do in terms of getting the 2 points and winning in convincing enough fashion that they won't have a gigantic net run rate task ahead of them in the final game. Now just seeing whether we're going to get the Irish captain here. No, we're not yet anyway. It looks like TV is still at a break. Sorry, dynamic situation here. But they've done, the core bit was win the game. And look, they were at different points tonight tested.
They were. Ireland showed a lot of fight, didn't they? I thought they bowled pretty well, barring those 3 overs where they went for 42 off 2 and then another 16. So they went for sort of 58 off 3 overs, and Australia only got 180. So outside of that, they weren't too bad, Ireland. They fielded really well. They were up and about as you expect Ireland to be. What happened was they just got blown away in the first 5 overs of the bat, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then Tucker played beautifully to actually rescue the innings and get them to a total where their net run rate didn't get hurt as much. And, you know, Australia would be a little bit frustrated with that, having them 5 for, what were they, 5 for 26?
5 for 25, at one point. Yeah, it was... It was absolute carnage at the start after Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins and Glenn Maxwell went to work inside those first 4 overs. I can confirm that Aaron Finch was the player of the match. I know that because he's brandishing a little trophy down there at the presentation. That must have been announced before we picked up the interview before. So we might actually take this opportunity to wrap up. I think that's what we're going to do here. So the T20 World Cup continues tomorrow with a double header back here at the Gabba. Afghanistan up against Sri Lanka, followed by a huge game. England and New Zealand. Download the SEN app for every ball. That England-New Zealand game will ultimately determine how this group shakes out, or could lead towards a fabulous final day.
Oh, it will do. I still think England are a dangerous side, aren't they? So I think even though they lost to Ireland, I think if they all guns blazing and play like they can trouble New Zealand. New Zealand, the form team of the competition with, say, someone like India and South Africa have been excellent as well. So I'm backing a really cracking game and, you know, to be a high-scoring affair with the way those two teams play.
Thank you, Darren Lehmann. It's been great having you in the summariser chair throughout the course of this evening. Up next, the first serve with Brett Phillips from the Gabba. It's good night. SEN T20 World Cup cricket. The host plus, that's a plus. Australia victorious by 42 runs. First sweeping Little. They do take a single. To the bowler's end, Maxwell takes the stumps. Is it run out? Will go upstairs. The throw from Mitch Marsh wasn't a bad one, but it wasn't a bullet either.
He didn't get there. No. That's out. That's the end of the game. That's a really good win by Australia.